Allies, Russia and Iran, and also Turkey are meeting today in Moscow. Dave?
Now, Lester, reacting to attacks in Turkey and Germany, President-elect Trump tweeted, "It's only getting worse and the civilized world must change thinking." He also tweeted, "We did it," after his Electoral college victory. That's a woman clashing with electors in Wisconsin. President-elect Trump got 304 electoral votes in total. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Some clouds and 13 degrees. 5:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police are beefing up security heavily at the downtown Daly Plaza Christkindl Market following a suspected terror attack in Germany. A dozen people there were killed when a truck rammed into that crowded market. Chicago police say there is not a threat in this city right now, but they will be increasing patrols at Daly Plaza to ensure the public's safety. A daycare employee is in stable condition, wounded by a stray bullet. It happened in south suburban Calumet City. The victim shot yesterday inside the Children's Home Center on Dalton Road. No arrests have been made. Authorities say one body has been recovered from inside a vehicle that crashed into a south suburban Linwood pond. Man found dead yesterday after crews pulled the car from the freezing water along Lincoln Highway. Former Chicago Mayor Richard Daley is set to give a deposition in a federal lawsuit related to disgraced former Chicago Police Commander John Burge. The longtime city official will be deposed January 17th in the case of Alonzo Smith. The suit accuses Daley of ignoring evidence that white Chicago police detectives working under Burge tortured dozens of black suspects. A group of police officers has been ordered to testify in front of a grand jury, part of the Laquan McDonald shooting case. A dozen subpoenas, according to the Sun-Times, were sent out over the weekend to officers involved in the investigation. The grand jury is hearing evidence about whether officers tried to cover up what happened after McDonald was shot and killed by Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke in 2014. Federal judge has ruled that a court-appointed monitor investigating patronage hiring at the Illinois Department of Transportation can also review hiring at other state agencies. State Journal Register reports the judge in the case ruled in favor of the IDOT case's plaintiffs. Now, they wanted authority of the special master expanded to include positions labeled as exempt at all state agencies, boards, and commissions. Anti-patronage activist Michael Shackman says the request stems from discoveries made by the master as she investigated hiring at IDOT. Now, you may recall the special master was appointed at IDOT because of a hiring scandal under former Governor Pat Quinn. Now, here's an early Christmas present for students in Rockford and a few other area schools. The district is one of many across the state delaying final exams this week. Rockford schools announcing yesterday that students will see some of their testing pushed back until the new year. In fact, a number of schools across the state shuffling exams due to classes being missed yesterday because of extreme cold. Jimmy Butler had 19, Rajon Rondo 10. Bulls rough up the Pistons 113-82. Number 15 Purdue beat Western Illinois last night. Mississippi defeats Bradley. DePaul trimming Southeast Missouri State. Monday Night Football. Panthers upset the Redskins. The news service of Walmart. Christmas is here and you still have names on your list. It's not too late to get the hottest gifts, such as the Fitbit Charge 2 at Walmart. Order by 6 p.m. December 23rd. Free pickup Christmas Eve. 4-hour minimum for order processing, subject to store availability. Of course, Christmas better. Save money, live better at Walmart. 5:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
For me, it never has been about Trump.
The Joe Walsh Show.
For me, it's about the ideas, it's about the issues, it's about the movement. Go ahead and cut whatever deal you want, but when it comes to people in this country illegally, you ran your campaign, sir, on that issue. You can't walk that back.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
It is 5:07. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in our AM 560 Traffic Center, as always. It's Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Got some major crashes causing delays and major problems on northbound I-55. The interstate is closed. Veterans Parkway to 53. Delays start before Weber Road. This is a multi-vehicle crash involving trucks. This may be shut down for a while. Happened around 3:30 this morning. Inbound I-57. It's heavy approaching Cicero Avenue. 2 right lanes are blocked. Cicero to 167th. The collision and the ramp to 167th. The exit there is closed. Westbound I-80 after LaGrange Road. There's a rollover crash. One in Hampshire as well. 20th Big Timber. There's a fire at Chicago's west side. West Humboldt Park Division. The 3700 block. Traffic service of Subway. It's time to celebrate the season. Enjoy a holiday spread catered by Subway restaurants. Featuring giant subs, sandwich platters, and sides. Make the holidays happier. Place your order today. Catering and giant sub orders must be placed 24 hours in advance. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here is meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, breezy, clouds giving way to sun, high 30. Increasing clouds tonight, low 18. Cloudy tomorrow, high 33. A mix of clouds and sunshine for Thursday. We'll have a high of 33. I'm Brian May on AM 560, The Answer.
18 at O'Hare, 17 along Chicago's lakefront, 17 at Midway. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Has the world gone mad? Good morning, Amy Jacobson here. Bruce Wolf filling in for Dan Proft today.
Good morning.
And we had a series of just bizarre assassination, a terrorist attack. There was a terrorist attack in Switzerland and a mosque. 3 people were shot. No one died.
Now, was that because a mosque is attacked? It wasn't attacked by Muslims, was it?
Well, there's
Who
different
attacked it?
religious
Timothy
sects.
McVeigh?
No,
I mean,
there's different, because Shiites and Sunnis.
Hey, watch your
there's-
language. This is an AM radio station.
But yeah, that happened. We don't know who's responsible for that or what the motive was, but I'm sure it was religious because it happened in a mosque. But nobody died.
Okay.
But the big news is what happened in Berlin, Germany yesterday. Just a horrible, horrible situation. So how this transpired, there was a construction site in Poland, and this Pakistani refugee who apparently lives in Germany went to Poland, went to this construction site, stole a truck, a 25-ton truck that was carrying steel beams. And so he had pretty much carjacked the truck driver. Yeah, truck jacked the driver and took him. And then off they went to Berlin to the Kris Kringle market, because markets are really big in Germany.
Are they called Kris Kringle markets?
No, that's what we call them here.
Oh, really?
But it's a big deal in Europe.
Yeah, sure.
They have these, little booths that
You
they
know
sell
how old-
ornaments and cider, and people meet there.
They've had this for 700 years.
Yeah.
And now that whole tradition is going to be wiped out like in a fortnight.
Terrorists are not going to win, Bruce.
I think they are going to win.
No,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not.
I-
Angela Merkel's going bye-bye. Because she has a little bit of egg in her face because the person responsible, they're not saying his name. And, of course, they're not saying if this was a terrorist attack, but we can say it here. It was a terrorist attack.
No. The headlines, the BBC had the headline that a lorry, that's the word for truck in BBC language, lorry killed 12 people. Not
serious?
Well, because it was hit by a truck. And it's Mark Stein, who's been on this for ages, since writing America Alone, a decade ago. As he says, so what do we need? More truck regulations, things like that, to prevent another Willis family episode in Illinois. We can't even name it. We can't even call it Islamofascism.
Right. It's this truck driver, terrorist, Pakistani refugee living in Germany. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for your help. He went 40 miles per hour and plowed right into the crowd. And there's such a narrow area between the booths that there was no place for anyone to run.
First, we heard glass breaking. We didn't know what was happening, but a lot of people running away and a lot of people crying, shouting, talking on the phone.
And the market has a lot of tourists. So here's Mike Fox. He was visiting from England.
It went just past me, past my girlfriend. I think it missed me by 3 meters, missed her by 5.
And everybody thought, this is, even though the German police and the authorities and the government warned people that this was going to happen, because there was a call from ISIS saying, use your vehicle as weapons, target Christmas markets like that.
What are you worried about?
Target parades in the United States.
Didn't happen here.
Not yet.
I heard Mike Scott, reporting that the Daily Center, because we're always terrorists for that. We had we had one security guard in the vestibule leading into the newsroom. One security guard who was asleep when I'd walk in the vestibule. Once 9/11 occurred, we had 2 security guards who were asleep in the vestibule when I'd walk in. And you had people like, Walter Jacobson and wondering how come they're not lacing letters with anthrax to me? Because all the big-time news anchors.
That is ill. You guys are sick.
No.
Who the hell wants a letter with anthrax sent to them?
They want to be important enough to be considered.
And you were one of them?
No, not me.
Oh,
personally.
no. Yeah, you were.
Let me ask you.
No.
Look, I noticed.
That is sick.
We're increasing security at the Daily Center right now because of this. And,
Yeah, we are, as we should be.
And how much does that cost us to do that?
I don't mind if my tax dollars go for that.
Yes, you do, because it's a little bit here and a little bit there.
I would mind if my tax dollars went to help inflated ego anchors who want anthrax sent to them just to elevate their name in the media.
There's enough tax dollars to go around.
You wonder why people hate reporters?
Now, here's the thing. It does cost us, and it costs us our freedom as a 700-year tradition in Germany of these Kris Kringle markets, as you call them.
Mm-hmm.
And people are afraid to walk around in Germany now. There's train cars just for women in Germany now because they've got to be protected against Muslims.
And this is what happens when you let 1 million refugees come into your country. Angela Merkel is not going to be reelected. If you want to tell her that, you could tweet her that. She's not. And she came out saying it's a very sad day for Germans, and it is. 12 dead, 48 injured. It's an awful day. But in a way, they asked for this.
You remember,
they didn't properly vet the refugees who came into their country, and this is what happens. And can it happen here? Here's terror expert Robert Pape.
They are going down. They're looking for a way to change the losing game. And the question is, will we stay the course or will we overreact or make concessions?
And people last night at the Kris Kringle market outside the Daily Plaza Center, they're a little on edge.
It does make me anxious about the situation in the country.
Could have happened here. I mean, we're in the center of Chicago.
Yeah. Do you ever go to the Kris Kringle market?
I've gone to the farmer's market at the Daily Center and looked.
I
never buy.
I didn't mean to laugh. I'm not.
What? Because I'm Jewish and I can't go to I don't like gingerbread. It's not kosher for Hanukkah. I can eat gingerbread.
I know. I'm sorry.
I know all the Christmas
we're
songs.
Good friends,
all
so
the Christmas songs were
Do
written
you?
by Mel Torme and Irving Berlin. They don't
Okay.
mention Jesus. Okay, granted. But all right, I'm trying to assimilate
but
here.
if you
I'm not
would-
like one of the Muslims.
But
okay?
would you go down to the Kris Kringle market today?
Well, it's a little cold today. I mean, if
No,
it
it's
warms
not.
up
Today's going to be 29. It's going to be balmy compared to yesterday. But weather aside, would you
Wally,
feel
I don't
safe?
go downtown anymore.
Would you feel safe
I
going to
haven't
the Kris
felt
Kringle
safe
market?
going downtown since I was mugged on the bridge leading to Marina City in 1967. Okay, And that wasn't a Muslim who did it, all right?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. We also had an assassination in Turkey. Did you watch the video?
No. You looked at it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're a
right before
Gaper's
I
Block
had my
kind of
homemade
person.
lasagna.
No, there's two kinds of people in this world. People who will watch it and people who won't watch it.
I
That's
watched
porn.
It. He wasn't shot in the head.
You watched a man being killed.
Yeah, I did. He shot him in the chest, and
oh my God,
he was shouting.
I'm getting nauseated.
Allah Akbar.
Yeah,
he was saying. You'll hear it.
I can.
Well, this went on for...
This was after the shooting.
Right, so he shot him, and then he's pointing the gun toward the crowd a little bit.
And he's a 22-year-old riot police guy, dressed well, and, seemed like, a decent chap. You'd never know that he was a terrorist.
Right, and his name, Bruce?
I forgot. It was like Melvit Eltsinis Akbar or something. What's the
22-year police officer, 2.5 years on the riot police unit. Well-dressed. I mean, you wouldn't expect him to come up and start plugging the ambassador to Russia.
Hey, the devil doesn't come
Russian
at
ambassador,
you. The devil doesn't come at you spitting out green bile like in The Exorcist. The devil wears clothes, wears Prada.
So his name is Mirlof Alt Overtintez.
No, that's
and I'm
not
sure
his name.
that I completely...
No, that's not his name. You want to mention his name, you've got to give
But he was killed.
name.
He was killed a short time later. And last night, there was
It's
another...
Mevlut Mert Eltintas.
Okay, thank you. Have that screen up on your computer there. And then last night, there was also... No one was injured, but there was a shot fired outside the U.S. Embassy in Turkey. So, they're saying... And then they took 6 of his family members, this police officer, this terrorist, this assassin guy. They took 6 of his family members in for questioning.
Yeah, that's could be construed as qualitatively different from your... I don't like to differentiate among terrorist attacks, but you could look at this a little bit differently because this is a reaction against Russia, which is wiping out people and, helping the death toll get up to 500,000 in Syria. So...
Yeah, because he shouted out, "Don't forget Aleppo," and God is great. Allah Akbar.
That's not the same thing as going, into the, Kris Kringle market.
So how did our president react, and how did the president-elect react? We'll have that coming up.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, windy with clouds, giving way to some sun, a high of 30. Tonight, thickening clouds, low of 18. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 33. Low tomorrow night, 25. Thursday, periods of cloud and sun, high of 33. Low Thursday night, 20. Now for a check of traffic, eeny, beeny, chilly, weeny. The spirits are about to speak. I'm going to say it's Jim Telemonte, am I right?
You're right, Bruce, as
right.
usual. Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, Amy. I-55 northbound, big problems. It is closed from Weber now to 53 due to an earlier crash. Traffic's at a standstill from 126. Coming from farther south on 55, you can take I-80 east to 355. But there's no getting through this. It may not be here for a while. It's a bad one. Which happened before 53 on northbound 55. Everything's forced off at Weber. There's inbound I-57, heavy approaching 167th, where 2 right lanes are blocked, and the exit to 167th is blocked. This is a rollover collision. Rollover on I-80 westbound after LaGrange Road, the left lane's blocked. Rollover in Hampshire, 20 in Big Timber. Got a fire on the west side, 3700 block West Division. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Every guy dreads the honey-do list, so give yourself a weekend off and check out ChicagoRadioDeals.com for some home improvement help. How's the air quality in your home? Allergens could be affecting the air you breathe. Royal Home Comfort Services is offering several deals at half off their normal prices to improve the air quality in your home. Purchase a full home air duct cleaning for $195. This deal includes all your ducts and an inspection of your furnace as well. They'll also have a deal to rid your home ductwork of all unwanted bacteria, including mold, by using a natural cleansing agent to keep your family safe and healthy. But wait, there's more. Royal Home Comfort also has a deal to clean and inspect your home dryer vent for only $45. If you want to tackle a project yourself, shop a great local hardware store with personal customer service. Purchase the Addison Building Materials $100 gift certificate for only $50. Addison Building Materials is a true value retailer. My dad was a true value retailer too, so yeah, I can attest to all this stuff. He's retired now. For more home improvement deals, visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com. ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right, as if your body is working against you. Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
Dr. Amy has really helped me. After experiencing a divorce in my 50s, I wasn't sure how to handle the stress and changes I was about to encounter. I needed to find a new profession since my ex-husband and I had worked together at our own company, plus there were other challenges with our own grown kids, family, and friends. It was wonderful to have Dr. Amy's guidance through this difficult situation. She kept me on track and assured me I was thinking correctly. She made a very hard time easier, and I will forever be grateful. If you're going through some hard life struggles, I would highly recommend Dr. Amy and Associates.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole-person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit dramyandassociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail and he did that one as well. Places they'll tell you just, get the implant the day you get your tooth extracted. We'll do it all in one day. And he believes you do it all the right way, and he knows what he's doing, and he has an eye for detail that other dentists or periodontists do not have. There's no surprises because it's scary as it is, but he made it really, really comfortable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given Dr. Neruzzi referrals, and I would refer him to anybody that's missing teeth.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
So two news events, dual breaking news events, around political terrorism and foreign diplomat being shot to death. Some pretty big news things happening. And guess what President Obama went to do? He released a quick statement at 10 a.m. in the morning saying that he's been briefed by his national security team on the assassination of the Russian ambassador.
I got to interrupt you. I'm sorry. You're not going to go with the old right-wing canard. And by the way, you can save big money at Canards.
Talking.
You're going to tell me that he went golfing and you're upset about that.
Well,
are you upset about that?
Let me try this again. This morning, or yesterday, when he learned about the attack in Russia, the assassination of the Russian ambassador, and about the truck being used as a weapon and killing of 12 people in Berlin. Yeah, he released a statement saying that he's directed his team to provide updates as warranted. And then 10 minutes later, he went golfing.
Well, what's he supposed to do?
You know what?
He's a lame duck anyway.
It's just...
Is he going to draw another red line?
Well, I would call bad political optics.
What does he need political optics for? He's not even the president anymore.
He's still the president until January. Until he has 32 more days as president of the United States.
You know what? And Ronald Reagan, if you believe Bill O'Reilly, okay, the addle-pated Ronald Reagan was sitting up in a room somewhere counting his jelly beans, and he didn't even know what was going on. I don't believe that.
So you think it's okay for him to go golfing?
You know what? I think Obama should have golfed more, because golf teaches you discipline. It teaches you that you can't wave a magic wand, be it your 7-iron or Callaway 3-wood.
Or a 2-iron in your case.
Forget a 2-iron. You know what is it? Only God, I'm sorry, can hit a 1-iron. I forgot the one of those golf cliches. Forget it. Can we erase that and put it on the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. No, it's okay that he plays golf. It teaches him discipline and that you can't come up with magic solutions to problems. And he didn't play all that much.
To me, it looks like arrogance and as if he doesn't care about the situation, and especially with Angela Merkel, who's supposed to be his good friend.
May I tell you a quick
sure.
MSNBC story? Shows how crazy they are. You know Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC? Okay. Remember Martin Bashir was also on MSNBC, and he got fired because he said that Sarah Palin should, have excrement put in her mouth or something like that. It was horrible. He got fired.
Graphic.
The guy who got fired before he got fired actually lectured Lawrence O'Donnell, who was even crazier. Lawrence O'Donnell thought that Republicans made fun of Obama's golfing. Try and follow this.
Right.
Made fun of Obama playing golf because it was a dog whistle to the fact that Tiger Woods, who was also black, was a philanderer. So Republicans were trying to tie Obama to the philandering Tiger Woods. Have you ever heard of a crazier
That's
theory?
insane.
Yeah, that guy's on MSNBC.
Okay, so President-elect Donald Trump released a statement today. We offer our condolences to the family and loved ones of Russian ambassador to Turkey, Andrei Karlov. Mm-hmm. And that was nice. And then later he tweeted, too, about the attack in Switzerland and in Germany. But also, do you know what they're doing today in Turkey? To show, we care about this ambassador. Mm-hmm. They decided to name the street in front of the embassy after him.
Nice consolation.
Just to show Putin and everyone, we feel awful. And, look, we're going to give him an honorary street sign.
That's like we have Hugh Hefner Way.
Yeah.
By the way, do we still have Hugh Hefner Way?
Yes. 312-642-5600.
A guy who came up with girly magazines?
312, I don't even know. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Patty, she joins us from the Northwest side. Good morning, Patty.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I was just going to tell Bruce, I did watch the video of the assassin, and it was horrifying, but this is the fact. This is radical Islamic terrorists.
But you didn't have to watch it, Patty.
So you get to know it.
We have to stop defending it. We have to stop protecting it. It is what it is.
No, I understand it is, but you don't have to look at it.
Yeah, you do.
I do. I do, because this is why not look at it?
I made my kids look at it.
No, I'm calling DCFS.
Get in line, Bruce. But yeah, thanks, Patty. I really
still love you, Bruce.
I love you more than you love me. I want to protect your. Oh, Patty.
You want to protect what?
I want to protect Patty from herself.
It's okay.
You know, when I went by Gapers blocks,
we all do.
I've experienced it, seeing an accident on the roadway. I try not to look.
Oh, I try not to look either. I really do because I want to keep moving forward.
What's the difference between not looking there and looking at this?
Because those aren't terrorist attacks. I want to see these devils. These,
you know
what they
is.
are. I want to see them. I want to see what they're doing, their delivery, their tone, their craziness. So people need to see that.
It can be described to you.
Going to come here
to
the
it.
States. Let's go to Dave, who joins us from Racine. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning. Since we can't blame radical Islam for anything, and that there's all this anti-Russian talk, affecting our election, maybe it was elements of the Hillary Clinton campaign, or maybe George Soros. After all, he's just an underground city away from being a James Bond villain.
I'm going to. It's difficult to parse that, but I think it's very clever. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I feel like at least 50% better so far. I'm not as fatigued because I do construction work, so I normally get knocked around a lot. And I'm like 60 plus years old, and I'm still doing it. And I can start beating guys half my age now.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson and Dan Proft here from Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're partnering with Food for the Poor to help raise money to provide food and water to impoverished children and families in Haiti and Guatemala. As you probably know, when Hurricane Matthew rolled through Haiti a few months ago, it decimated a country that was already the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. The need right now is overwhelming.
Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest greatest need. And 95 cents of every dollar they receive goes directly to the field, helping children and families.
Here's how you can help. A donation of $50 will provide food for a year and water for life for a child in Haiti. $50. That's all it takes to change a life.
To make that gift this Christmas season, just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-3663. Or go online and visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword food.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, no, I just spilled coffee. Coming up
I thought you were upset by Coldplay.
Coming up, I need a longer headset because I feel like a dog leashed in a backyard. I can't move. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, is the First Lady an angry black woman? We'll find out.
I'm sorry, I gave it away.
And then check your tickets. There's a $1 million winner out there, but time is a ticking. We'll explain. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Bruce, good morning. 16 degrees. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says she believes that the country must assume at this point that what happened at a Kindle market in Berlin was a terror attack. British tourist Mike Fox was on hand, saw several people mowed down by the truck.
I spoke to 2 people who were lying on the floor with broken limbs, but they were going to be okay. I saw one guy being dragged away with blood on his face. I helped several other people lift the side of one of the stalls up so that they could pull 2 other people.
At least 12 were killed, dozens more hurt when a semi-tractor trailer plowed into a crowd of evening shoppers at the market. Belgian authorities say they've detained 1 person and seized weapons and computer materials in a raid in Brussels. You may recall, Belgian police and the military there have been on high alert since suicide bombers killed 32 at a Brussels airport. A new lawsuit blames 3 companies for the rise of ISIS. 3 families of men killed in the Pulse nightclub have filed federal civil suit against Google, Facebook, and Twitter in Michigan. Authorities in Little Rock, Arkansas, increasing the reward for information into the shooting death of a 3-year-old apparently involved in a case of road rage. Donald Trump, victorious with a tweet. He says, "We did it." Despite weeks of lobbying and a day of protest, Trump won all but 2 of the Electoral College votes he claimed on Election Day, ensuring he will become America's 45th president.
For president, Donald Trump, 36 votes. For Ron Paul, 1 vote. And for John Kasich, 1 vote. By the way, Texas now puts President Trump over the top.
Texas pushing Trump over the magic number of 270, with all states reporting Trump finishing with 304. More electors abandoned Hillary Clinton than Donald Trump, and by law, those who abandoned Clinton were replaced. Chicago police are beefing up security at the downtown Daley Plaza Chris Kindle Market following a suspected terror attack in Germany. Authorities say 1 body has been recovered from inside a vehicle that crashed through a south suburban Linwood retention pond. And President Barack Obama has pardoned 1 Illinois resident and shortened the sentence of 7 others in the state convicted of federal crimes. Bulls beat the Pistons 113-82, snapping a 3-game losing streak. Surging Blackhawks square off against the Senators at the UC tonight. The news, a service of Sprint. This holiday season, switch to Sprint and learn how you can get 2 Samsung Galaxy S7s or Galaxy S7 Edges for 1 low price. Dash to your local Sprint store, sprint.com/holiday, or call 800-SPRINT1 today. Happy holidays to you and your family from Sprint. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Christmas is less than a month away, and this year, give the gift of sunshine. Grab your passport to paradise and join Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh at Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa in beautiful Punta Cana. It's an unlimited luxury adults-only resort with all the amenities you can imagine. Give this trip as a gift to a loved one or treat yourself this holiday season. Visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword passport.
Centrum Silver, now verified non-GMO and gluten-free, with daily nutrients to support your heart, brain, eyes, and all the most important parts of you.
I'm worried that my employees are costing me a fortune every month in damaged or missing inventory. I'm not sure how to solve this problem or who to turn to.
Alarm Detection Systems installs video cameras that watch over your place of business. reduce loss, and increase profits with advanced security. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I can't get the alarm company on the phone to save my life. My alarm's going off all the time, and I don't know why. It's driving me crazy.
Call Alarm Detection Systems. We have live reps answering our phones 24/7, 365. No auto attendant. Call 630-844-6300. Get better customer service in return. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
5:37, and a check of the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound I-55 traffic is at a standstill from 126 to Weber. Northbound 55 is closed at Weber. All traffic is forced off there to a crash north of there before 53. The detour, one of them is northbound Weber to eastbound Boughton Road to 355. You're coming from farther south, you can take eastbound I-80 to 355 back to 55. And there's I-80 westbound after LaGrange Road. Got a rollover crash blocking the left lane. Inbound Eisenhower has delays. St. Charles before the Tri-State. There's a stall in the right lane there. Just a 2-minute delay right now. Aidens and the Kennedy are okay. The ride just a little heavy approaching downtown. Bishop Ford sluggish approaching Merge. Traffic as a service, the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communications. We all play a role in keeping Chicago safe. See something, say something. Report suspicious activity by calling 911 or 855-777-8274. This message is brought to you by Chicago and Cook County Emergency Management, paid for by FEMA grant funding. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Windy, clouds give way to sunshine, and a high near 30. Thickening clouds and a low of 18 overnight. Currently, 18 at O'Hare, 17 along the lakefront. Next news at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with Bruce Wolf sitting in with us this week on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Of course, we're going to keep you up to date if anything breaks on the terror investigation after that truck plowed through the crowd in Germany, and then, of course, the assassination of the Russian ambassador.
That's all stuff out of the country. We don't care about that stuff.
Yeah, we do.
America first.
I do. I care about that.
You do. You're a talk show host.
No,
America doesn't
I care
about
because
that.
a lot of Americans travel to Europe and have family members in Europe.
Not that many.
And if it happens in Europe, eventually it's going to happen here.
We can tolerate about 2 terrorist attacks here a year. We had San Bernardino and what was it, Orlando? I can't remember. Okay. We can tolerate 2 a year.
I don't want to tolerate any.
I don't either. I'm talking about America can tolerate it. That's I hate to.
You're living in a different world than I am. And what if one of your loved ones was killed in San Bernardino or at that nightclub in Orlando?
You're preaching to the choir here. I'm talking about America. America will tolerate that. I've done the calculus on this. I've done the algorithms.
Yeah.
We will tolerate that. I'm sorry, but we'll do it. And that's why, because
tolerant meaning that we're going to keep our heads up high, we're going to keep strong.
No, we're going to put our heads in the sand. This is what we, right at the red line, we're going to put our heads in the sand. President Obama didn't want to expend political capital on keeping America strong abroad. He wanted to have his domestic agenda enacted, and he didn't want to get embroiled in a quagmire or whatever, giggity. And so that's why, and I'm saying, we'll talk, we'll get upset about these 3 things that happened yesterday, but it'll go away, and it'll be interesting to see what Donald Trump does beyond the rhetoric.
Beyond tweeting?
Beyond tweeting, beyond the rhetoric of saying it is Islamofascism. I do like that he says that, but what will he do beyond that?
Yeah, that's right. You know what? I didn't read the full extent, of his comment when he did call it an Islamic terrorist attack, as opposed to the current president, who never uses that word.
It was
It's
truck
Islamic
violence.
terrorist attack.
It was a truck that did it.
Well, because
not a terrorist.
ISIS and Al-Qaeda has been calling on people to use trucks as weapon. I mean, this happened in Nice when 86 people died during Bastille days. So if you don't think that it could happen here, that you're nuts. Just be vigilant, be aware of your surroundings. And if you see a truck plowing at you in a crowd, drop your things and run like hell.
Look, we know, if you're a liberal, you know that the Russian hacking of the emails was the proximate cause of Hillary Clinton's defeat in the election. If you're a liberal, you know that. What you don't know is that it was Islamic fascism that caused these people to die in Germany yesterday.
All right, we're going to move on. Of course, we'll keep you updated on the latest terrorist attacks. And later, at the top of the 6th, we're going to talk about how Donald Trump graduated from the Electoral College with honors. Yeah? And we'll talk about that at 6.
I hope he learned how to spell at the Electoral College, because his spelling of unprecedented the other day was terrible.
It still makes me laugh that I worked with somebody who thought it was a Big Ten school. Anyway, yesterday...
Wait a minute. Who was it?
I can't tell you.
Was it at Channel 5?
Oh, yeah. It was bad.
Electoral College?
Oh, he was he was a block of rocks that we even... You know how you do the editor's blog at night to prepare people for the morning on what's their... There was a 19-year-old woman who had put her 3-year-old in front of her and was riding a go-kart in Palatine. I don't know if you remember this story. And she crashed into the wall, because that's what you do with go-karts. And the 3-year-old died.
Oh.
So one of our assignment editors put this Rhodes Scholar of a mother, decided it was a good idea.
And he called her a Rhodes Scholar.
On the air.
Oh, that's
He says, my roll cue is Rhodes Scholar. And Allison Ebert, who's smart, she was a director, said,
I remember Allison.
Me?
She died.
I know, recently of cancer.
I loved her. Yeah.
Great lady.
Yeah.
It's just superb, wonderful at her job. She stopped him. She said that was a joke. So then later, we can never joke around because
Can I ask you a
people
question?
are so ignorant.
Was this the same anchor who thought that Mother Teresa had been killed?
No.
That was just a mistake.
No, that was... Yeah.
Or is this the same person who was responsible for
I'm
when
not gonna-
Cubby Broccoli died? The guy, the James Bond movies? Cubby Broccoli, the producer,
I have
they
that
put
blooper.
They put a picture over his shoulder of a stalk of broccoli. The funny thing is that
John Esposito read the story.
But the funny thing is that it's actually, there's some truth to it, because the broccoli family, broccoli is a hybrid. It doesn't occur naturally in nature, I don't think. Now I'm showing my ignorance. But the broccoli family did have something to do with actual broccoli stalks.
Oh,
I mean, it would have been better to have, a little bit of broccoli between the teeth of Sean Connery, but be that as it may. All right, one last guess here. Was this in the last, 10 or 12 years? That you left
it
10
was
years,
longer.
Like 20 years ago?
It was 15 years ago.
15
and I left
years
8
ago.
years ago.
It was 15 years ago there was an anchor there? A white male?
I'm not, you know what? I'm done playing your reindeer games.
Does it rhyme with...
I'm done playing the reindeer games. But we'll talk about the Electoral College at the top of the 6. It'll be wonderful. All right, so rounding out the Oprah interview with First Lady Michelle Obama. First she was sick and that there's no hope that President-elect Donald Trump was moving in.
Having hope feels like, hope is necessary. It's a necessary concept. And Barack didn't just talk about hope because he thought it was just a nice slogan to get votes.
Yeah, so that made the rounds.
Is hope a concept? I thought it was a virtue.
Oh, nice.
I'd like to be more specific than concept. I mean, what a concept is something that Robin Williams used to say.
So more of this much hyped interview with Oprah has been leaked. And First Lady Michelle Obama had a lot to say. So here's the latest clip to be released. In it, she took on the angry black woman label that she was tagged with when her husband ran for president in 2008. And it's a theme that kept going through both of his terms in office.
When you were labeled that angry black woman, was that one of the things that knocked you back a bit?
Well, that was one of those things that you just sort of think, dang, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
I mean, you just sort of feel like, wow, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
And that's the first blowback, because you think, wow, that is so not me. But then you sort of think, well, this isn't about me. This is about the person or the people who write it.
Right.
I mean, that's just the truth.
That's what Maya always used to say to me.
Yeah, it's just so,
Yes.
it's so much
Maya,
about that.
Maya
And then you start
Angelou.
thinking, oh, wow, we're so afraid of each other.
Toni Morrison told me once.
And you wait. Okay,
I'm sorry.
Now,
I'm an angry white man. Okay?
I know you are, but why is it when assertive women,
Yeah.
exude something that we're considered angry or the B word?
Wait a minute.
And I can't.
First of all,
Every woman who is assertive and who's not afraid to stand up to men. Why are we all
Why
labeled
don't you just
angry?
vote for Hillary?
Why are
Look.
we labeled angry or the B word? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
So the headline on that soundbite was "Angry Black Woman Angry that she's called an angry black woman," because she is an angry black woman.
Why? No,
And
she's
I love
not.
I love that Oprah.
She's
dropped,
a strong mother,
I
and
lo-
she's a smart woman. You said she was stupid. She got into Harvard and Princeton. She's not stupid.
She was an affirmative action. She
So what, Bruce? She didn't flunk out. She didn't get an
Of course she
F
didn't.
in
They
organic
probably ushered-
chemistry like Governor Perry did at Texas A&M.
Who says that Governor Perry should have gone to Texas A&M?
Who said he should be the energy secretary?
No, she shouldn't. She's not Princeton material. Now the guy.
Oh my gosh!
No, she wasn't. She got in through affirmative action. If she were, I don't think she would have gotten in if she were, Laura Bush.
So she made something of herself. She grew up in South Shore,
I
neighborhood
didn't
of
say
Chicago,
I didn't
and
say
good
she
for
didn't.
her.
I didn't say she didn't make something of herself. I'm saying that she should have been at the U of I in the agriculture school and then maybe transferred to liberal arts because she probably wouldn't have gotten in to liberal arts with her
attorney?
ACT score. There's a lot. I'm an attorney.
She's
Big
I don't
deal.
know if she's ever litigated, but yeah. She's a JD.
So, yeah, but I love Oprah dropping Maya Angelou. Actually, Maya Angelou would probably drop the name of Oprah. So it's okay for Oprah to do
It's
it.
all right.
Now, Toni Morrison once said about me that I was Chicago's, speaking of black female authors, that I was Chicago's first black sportscaster. In the Bill Clinton sense, like he was the first black president, because I have suffered.
Are you an angry black sportscaster?
Yes, I'm an
Bruce?
angry black sportscaster, and I have a lot of soul. And, all the other sportscasters are vanilla. All of them, including the black ones. So let me ask you this, Amy. Have I gone off the rails
No,
early in the morning? I
No.
want to be part of the program here, and I don't want to go off the rails.
It's okay. But
All
I again, why is it that everyone who's assertive is successful? I mean, women are labeled the B word
Well,
or the A word,
if
angry.
if the shoe fits. But not every, but there is a certain prejudice there.
There is.
That women should be the June Cleaver type.
That
with
we
the
should be in the
beads.
kitchen.
Yeah.
Changing the kids'
But,
diapers. I
would
should be fixing my kids' breakfast right now,
Right.
taking them
and
to school.
I didn't want to say
Yeah.
anything, but now that you mentioned it, here's the
Yeah.
thing. Don't all women or most women feel ambivalent about that at best? That they actually do feel that they should be in the kitchen even though they're out, slaying the capitalist monsters?
It's a moral dilemma.
Because women,
Yeah.
I was just reading this yesterday. I only read tweets and I intuit it, that there was this whole study.
Your brain changes when you become pregnant.
Yes.
I read that too.
Yes. We had a brain, wave between us.
But
on that
men's
just now.
brains don't change.
So women
when
are
you have children.
See, women are different from men.
It's like a compassion component
Yeah,
of
women,
your brain.
Women,
changes.
when they get pregnant, according to this study, which I only read the tweet on, but I could intuit the whole study from that, the women, when they get pregnant, all of a sudden they become geared to be mothers because of that.
maternal instincts
Did you read
kick
the
in.
story?
I did, but then
Okay.
it kicks back 2 years later. After 2 years after
it
giving
wears
birth.
off?
Yep, it wears off. Read the rest of the story.
Now you know the rest of the story.
thought it had
Thank
to
you,
do
Paul Harvey.
With memory loss. Let's go to Candace, who joins us from DuPage County. Good morning, Candace.
Okay, Michelle Obama is the epitome of angry black woman. I have only seen her smile for photographers and the front cover of magazines for the past 8 years. So I don't know what the heck you're talking about, Amy. And Bruce, I'm right with you. She's not that smart. Listen to her speak. She's not that intelligent. And what kind of person grunts between sentences when she's trying to convince somebody that she's not angry?
Candace, would you agree with me? Candace, would you agree with me that it's the soft bigotry of low expectations with regard to Michelle Obama?
Absolutely, because imagine if that was Laura Bush or anybody else. I mean, that's all we'd hear about is how bitchy she is with staff and everything else. This woman is not happy, okay?
No, but she even says she's not happy.
Designer clothes,
Do you
honey.
think, Candace, do you
Loves
think the
her
Obamas...
designer clothes.
Candace, really,
Candace,
it's my...
no.
Oh, you got rid of her.
Well,
I
they're
wanted
telling
to
me to do
interrupt-
something different with the board here.
I wanted to interrupt her, and then you got rid of her.
But here's the thing. Michelle Obama, yeah, she's very assertive, and she wears the pants in the family. And the times that I've seen her, she scares me. She does. She's almost militant in the way that she controls her husband and she runs the family. But you need that. You need boundaries and rules.
Do you think the Obamas will be divorced?
Never.
Why not?
Never. And he never cheated on her ever. And he's not gay either. Okay, I know for a fact.
He's a smoker though,
oh,
and a midnight
he used to
toker.
be a smoker. Let's go to our good friend Greg, who joins us from Schaumburg. Good morning, Greg.
Hey, Amy, how you are? Can I speak to the radio legend?
Yes.
Dan is not here.
Oh.
No, I was talking about Amy.
Oh.
Exactly.
Hi, Greg.
Bruce.
Greg, how are things going, Greg?
They're going great.
Long time
Amy,
no talk.
Sorry, Bruce. I have to be an official good caller here, which gets into right to the point, as I've been told by Mr. Snerdley.
Okay, thank you. Another Bruce Wolf reference.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for meandering
let
now,
him
Greg.
talk.
Okay,
stop. Yes, Greg. Say what do you want to say?
Amy, I think what you have to look for, like, would K.T. McFarland be looked at as somebody that could do the B word? The answer is no. And even you're a pretty assertive person, but you kind of assume a level of equality with any male that you've ever dealt with, and that's all that men are looking for. When a woman comes across as the B word is when it's assumed that she is approaching it from an inequality position, and the male is being a victim.
Greg, you sounded rather effeminate to me. You know, here's my point. Greg,
he's not done talking.
Yes, he is. Greg, are you still there?
Just men are getting sick and tired of being accused of stuff that we do not have in our heart, and we're tired of it.
All right, thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
And I'm being assertive in a very nice way.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. Forecasting the future is tricky business, as even the sabermetric Poindexters found out on November 8th, so I'll stick to wish casting for 2017. Since the left doesn't trust a Trump-led government and conservatives don't trust government, period, I wish for the bipartisan agreement Pauls are always clamoring on about to drastically reduce the size, scope, and expense of the federal Leviathan. I wish the governor of one of the adjacent Great Lakes states would colonize Illinois. I wish we would remember that smart is not a synonym for civilized. I wish the affluent would preach what they practice in the areas of family, education, work ethic, and personal responsibility. I wish Pope Francis would take his cues from the Word of God more so than the word of Leonardo DiCaprio. I wish more people would read Thomas Sowell and fewer would watch The View, The Chew, and the blathering Beltway magpies who have no clue. I wish those who claim to do everything in the name of the children actually did. I wish self-styled fiscal conservatives would learn that every issue is a moral issue and every law reflects someone's values. I wish for a return to the pre-post-truth era, and I wish you and yours a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2017. The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good. But you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort. providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. There's no better place to be for the holidays than Chicago.
And this is Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Whether it's ice skating under the lights at Millennium Park,
or my favorite, visiting Candy Cane Lane in Lincolnwood to see the Noonan House with the tree magically rising through the roof,
or attending the annual tree lighting in downtown Downers Grove.
We wish you the very best this holiday season from Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
That's Lisbeth. She doesn't know it, but she owes her life to a change in public opinion. Our younger generation of women is turning the tide of public opinion concerning abortion. The most recent statistics show that more women facing unwanted pregnancies are choosing life compared to 15 years ago. Many wonder why, if a pregnant woman and her unborn child are murdered, it's a double homicide. Yet they ask, why isn't abortion a crime? More women now value life, even if their unwanted child is to be placed for adoption, because they may feel like they can never forgive themselves of an abortion, even if the law does. Lake County Right to Life, helping young women choose courage over convenience. LCRTL.org. That's LCRTL.org. Visit Lake County Right to Life on Twitter and Facebook, or call 847-223-7022.
Hey, Dan Proft here. Gentlemen, this time of year can be exhausting and stressful, but if you feel a lack of energy or motivation, no matter what time of year, it's time to get your testosterone levels checked. Stress is associated with low testosterone and can worsen symptoms like fatigue, trouble sleeping, and can affect your mood. I personally recommend going to Low T Center. They make it easy. You walk in, you take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get you through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap after lunch, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, and cause weight gain. Low T Center accepts most health insurance and has flexible hours, including Saturdays. So don't hesitate to find out what your number is. I'm sure glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center today and tell them Dan Proft sent you. The number is 630-409-4305. Call 630-409-4305. Again, the number 630-409-4305. Or go to lowtcenter.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Trump graduates from the Electoral College with honors, and most defectors, well, they were Democrats, not Republicans. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Bruce, Chicago Police Department beefing up security around a downtown market after the terror attack in Germany. A daycare employee wounded by a stray bullet happened in Calumet City. Schools delay finals or because of classes being canceled because of cold weather. Your forecast after Fox, WIND, Chicago News Time, 6.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Police in Germany think the threat is over.
At the moment, we can only say that there is no danger anymore.
As they focus on the suspected terrorist who drove a truck through a crowded Christmas market in Berlin yesterday, killing 12 people, injuring nearly 50. Fox's Alistair Wanklin has more live.
Dave, the truck rammed into shoppers, crushing people over the course of about 60 yards. Authorities are assuming it is terrorism. German Chancellor Angela Merkel saying it'll be a bitter blow if the attacker is found to be an asylum seeker. A 23-year-old man from Pakistan reportedly was followed from the scene and is now under arrest. He denies involvement. German media say Germany took in more than 1 million migrants last year. This is Germany's first mass casualty attack attributed to Islamist terror, and it's an apparent copy of a deadly truck attack in southern France in July. Dave?
Alistair, the White House, of course, has condemned the attack.
In November, the State Department had warned ISIS was targeting European Christmas markets before the Berlin attack. After the attack, President-elect Donald Trump tweeted this: "It is only getting worse. The civilized world must change thinking."
Fox's Kelly Wright. The president-elect also tweeted, "We did it." After winning the Electoral College vote, 2 Texas electors did not vote for Donald Trump, but 304 others did.
The deepest divisions on display yesterday were on the Democratic side. One Democratic elector in Maine tried to vote for Senator Bernie Sanders, but switched to Clinton after it was ruled improper. And the same thing happened in Minnesota and Colorado, but those electors were actually replaced.
Fox's Kristen Fisher. 5 electors in all did abandon Hillary Clinton. 3 of them voted for former Secretary of State Colin Powell instead. The U.S. embassies closed in Ankara, Turkey, after a gunman fired shots outside. He's now in custody hours after Russia's ambassador was murdered by a Turkish policeman who condemned Russia's military involvement in Syria. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies. We have 16 degrees. 6:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police beefing up security at Daley Plaza at the Chris Kindle Market following a suspected terror attack in Germany. At least a dozen were killed, many more injured when that truck rammed into a crowded Christmas market in Berlin. A daycare employee is in stable condition, wounded by a stray bullet in Calumet City. The victim shot yesterday in the Children's Home Center on Dalton Road. Police say no arrests have been made. Former Chicago Mayor Richard Daley set to give a deposition in a federal lawsuit related to disgraced former Chicago Police Commander John Burge. The suit accuses Daley of ignoring evidence that white Chicago police detectives working under Burge tortured dozens of black suspects. Governor Bruce Rauner touting the fact that the number of inmates in the state of Illinois in prisons has dropped by 9%. The latest on that developing story from AM 560's David Stewart.
Governor Rauner is part way to his goal of having the prison population decline by 25% by the year 2025. He says making that happen involves working to ensure that offenders don't repeat their crimes.
Just punishing doesn't solve the problem if you don't get the root cause for what caused the criminal behavior in the first place. Often it's mental illness, often it's addiction problems.
And Rauner says the solution involves treating those underlying issues and helping ex-offenders find jobs. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Overnight, firefighters have extinguished a huge blaze at a building housing a Sears store and a mattress business in southern Illinois. No injuries reported in the Mount Vernon blaze. Students in Rockford and several other area school districts getting a bit of a Christmas gift. The districts across the state are delaying final exams this week because of the battle against extreme cold that may have closed or delayed school. Jimmy Butler, 19, Bulls romp over the Pistons, 113-82. Mississippi knocked off Bradley in college baskets, while DePaul edged Southeast Missouri State, 81-78. Monday Night Football, Panthers upset the Redskins. The news service of Staples. Staples can take care of all of your personal and business holiday shipping in-store with UPS 7 days a week, with all the packing supplies you need at great prices. Plus, from now until December 24th, get 10% off UPS shipping services. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. 6:04, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
The time to get your business ready for 2017 is now. So if you're ready to upgrade to a phone system that will deliver better business communications in the coming year, there's never been a better time to switch to Vonage Business, because our end-of-year sales event is on now. Switch to an award-winning phone system that boasts over 40 business-class features, including virtual receptionist, to give your company a 24-hour professional presence, and a free mobile app to keep you seamlessly connected on the go. Switch before the end of the year to take advantage of our limited-time phone sale. starting at 50% off. You'll also get a discount on the monthly service fee and waived activation to save you even more in the new year. Don't miss the Vonage end-of-year sales event and join the 75,000 other businesses that have already switched to Vonage Business. Hurry, offer ends December 31st. Visit Vonage.com/December or call 1-800-5-VONAGE. Terms and conditions apply.
It is 6:06. Let's get an update on the roads at our AM 560 traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Had some awful crashes in the last few hours. There's two now crashes on northbound I-55 causing issues. One has the interstate shut down northbound between Weber and 53. But south of there's now one. Bringing heavy delays from Lockport Road to 126. The crash there blocks all lanes, so traffic only snakes by on the right shoulder. And then all traffic's forced off at Weber. It's closed between Weber and 53. You can probably take I-80 eastbound to 355. You're coming from well south. Southbound, everything is open. And farther north to Stevenson, it's pretty light. So once these things open up, there's a lot of traffic heading north. Currently, the Edens and the Kennedy are fine. The Eisenhower is slow. York to before the Tri-State with a stall in the right lane. 40 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound, it's clear. The Rhine is 22 minutes from 95th to downtown Bishop. Ford, 29 minutes, 8094 to the Rhine. 57's good. Westbound I-80 slow. LaGrange Road before Wolf with a rollover in the left lane. Traffic service of American Express open. Business cards from American Express can help cover the big purchases you need to make when you need to make them. Find out how American Express open cards and services help prepare you for growth at open.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here is meteorologist Brian May.
Today, breezy, clouds giving way to sun, high 30. Increasing clouds tonight, low 18. Cloudy tomorrow, high 33. A mix of clouds and sunshine for Thursday. We'll have a high of 33. I'm Brian May on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, we have 17 at O'Hare, 18 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with Bruce Wolf sitting in this week on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Airwaves. Check out the show that's all about making money in real estate every Sunday at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
First, we heard glass breaking. We didn't know what was happening, but a lot of people running away.
It went just past me, past my girlfriend. I think it missed me by 3 meters, missed her by 5.
They are going down. They're looking for a way to change the losing game. And the question is, will we stay the course or will we overreact or make concessions?
The votes for President of the United States were cast and tabulated. All 16 electors cast their ballots for Donald J. Trump for President of the United States.
When you were labeled that angry black woman, was that one of the things that knocked you back a bit?
That was one of those things that you just sort of think, dang, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
You know?
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good Tuesday morning. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Amy Jacobson here. Bruce Wolf sitting in for DP, Dan Proft. And it's a great day because it's official.
What?
Well, we're moving closer to the official process of Donald Trump becoming the 45th president of these United States.
Wow. It's it just dawns on me like it dawns on me every so often.
That the Cubs won the World Series?
Exactly.
I know.
That the Cubs won the World. Why am I even on
So
today?
funny.
You can play my part.
So
You're
funny.
taking
I
the
feel the
words right out
same
of my
way,
mouth.
though.
The Cubs won the World Series, and then you look at Trump, and he's standing there in Hershey, Pennsylvania, or wherever he's going, and what? He
Did that
won.
happen?
I mean, I voted for him, and I still don't believe that he's the president.
Oh.
The 45th. I mean, there's only been 45 guys who have been the president of the United States. And he's one of them?
No government experience, no military background.
I mean,
and he's the
way
president
he
of the
talks,
United States.
doesn't know how to spell unprecedented.
Well, these are some unprecedented times. But
Tell me.
The big news yesterday. All right, so Trump received 304 electoral votes, Clinton 227. Colin Powell received 3. John Kasich, 1. Sure. Ron, not Rand Paul, Ron sure. Paul, 1. Bernie Sanders, 1. And Faith Spotted Eagle received 1 vote. So I had to who's
Faith Spotted Eagle?
Faith Spotted Eagle is a member of the Sioux Nation and an activist against the pipeline. So, it's not a high school band that you were in.
No, right.
Faith Spotted Eagle.
Now, the thing is that it's interesting because I watched Fox News special report yesterday, and Brett Baer.
That's your breaking news alert.
What's the sound effect?
Everything's breaking news.
Of course it is. Everything's an alert. If everything's alert, nothing is an alert. But I hate to get philosophical there. But Brett Baer, within about 12 seconds, said the word faithless. And James Rosen did it too. They kept emphasizing the faithless electors.
Well, that's what they're called.
I know, but that's a pejorative.
It's defectors. And the big news.
How about people using their conscience?
And the big news coming out of yesterday was the fact that most of the defectors or the faithless electors were Democrats and not Republicans. So what happened in the state of Washington? 8 of the states, I'm not even looking at you, 8 of the states, 12 Democratic electors voted for Clinton. 4 refused to cast their vote for her. Instead, 3 voted for Colin Powell and 1 voted for Faith Spotted Eagle.
Well, that's why I thought it was just interesting that you have all these faithless electors voting for Faith Spotted Eagle. I thought that was...
So additionally, not only that, 3 Clinton electors in Colorado, Maine, and Minnesota also tried to vote for other candidates, but they were dismissed and replaced with somebody else right on the spot. So the good news is, Michael Moore, who has a little egg in his face, the liberal filmmaker, Michael Moore.
Absolutely. Roger and me.
Take off the Michigan State hat. Oh, yeah.
Columbine.
Bowling
for Columbine.
Yeah, all that. He, just so you know, before
fat guy
electors cast their votes.
Important to point out that he's fat.
He promised to pay the fines for GOP electors who rejected Trump. So there's this big thing, and then you had all the B-list celebrities saying, vote with your conscience. You don't have to vote for Hillary, but don't vote for Trump and all that. And it turns out that it was the Democrat electors who are the ones who went rogue. And, of course, there was protests in Arizona, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and up north in Wisconsin, by where you live. They shouted, shame, shame, shame. Shame.
Be in America! Shame! 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 You
That's not from this.
My America! This is my America!
That's a phony tape. No, Amy. That is from the final episode of the season before of Game of Thrones when Cersei is walking naked for 4 minutes and 58 seconds. And they're yelling shame.
And so they were yelling that at the 10 presidential electors who were casting their votes for Donald Trump. And did you hear on the way out? But you were talking, so you didn't hear. As she's getting taken out by police, she says in between shames, Can I get my things? Oh, shame. I need my things. Sure. I just loved it. Oh, honey, if you're going to protest, bring your purse with you. I mean, they're not going to let you go back and get your stuff.
Reminds me of back in 1970 when there were protests at Northwestern University over the war. So they had a walkout over the war. A walkout. And then, the professors, flunked the kids on their exams that they missed it. And then the kids all complained because, we're supposed to be able to walk out without consequences. And this woman wants her things.
She wants her things. But the good news is those 4 faithless electors from Washington, according to their Washington State Secretary of State's office, they're going to be fined. They are going to be fined $1,000 each for flipping and voting for Colin Powell and for Faith Spotted Eagle.
And I'll take one more shot at this. Who was the Channel 5 anchor who thought Electoral College was in the Big Ten? Come on. Does it rhyme with Poorman?
No.
He didn't do that.
All right, so Bill Clinton was a Democrat elector from the state of New York, and when he was leaving the state capitol, he ran into reporters and, they asked him, why did Hillary lose? What was it?
Tell me, how do you feel today? Is it bittersweet for you?
Yeah, but I've never cast a vote I was prouder of. I watched her work for 2 years. I watched her battle through that bogus email deal, be vindicated at the end when Secretary Powell came out. She fought through that. She fought through everything. And she prevailed against it all. But, then at the end we had the Russians and and the FBI deal, but she couldn't prevail against that. She did everything else and still won by 2.8 million votes.
What cost her the election, Mr.
Thanks, guys. We got to run.
Look, that's up to the experts.
So,
Okay.
yes, Bruce, I'm letting
no,
you speak.
No, and you should really just put some masking tape over my face. Look, did you listen to him? Did he have the strength to actually drop the ballot in the box? I mean, he is like
he is thin.
The old man on The
He's
Simpsons.
old. When you get old,
Mr. Burns.
Yeah, things happen. He's skinny. He looks
Do you remember
old.
when
He
Mr.
doesn't look
Burns?
well.
Do you remember when Mr. Burns was bowling on The Simpsons and the ball return came, and you know how the air blows over the ball?
Yeah.
And his
To
hand,
get the sweat off.
but his hand was like flapping in the breeze over that. That's what Bill Clinton looked like to me. Listen how he sounds. He used to be so robust.
That's all right. 312-642-5600. Are you surprised by the Electoral College result? I have to say I was, because all I've been having here, all my liberal friends just complaining and whining and crying and going through the stages of grief because Donald Trump's president. Let's go to Scott, who joins us from the West Side. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Bruce.
Whatever.
I'm sorry, Bruce
It's okay.
and Amy. Thanks for taking my call. What happened yet? Our forefathers were so intelligent that the way they set up the system, what happened yesterday proves that it works. It worked like it's supposed to work, and it's going to work in the future for many years to come. What we need to do now as conservatives is not let the left have the narrative that we only hear their side from the mainstream media. We have to find a way to change that.
All right, thanks, Scott.
By the way, Nate Silver, 538 blog.
Yeah, Bill Clinton quoted him on the way out yesterday.
well,
he said, just if you want to know why my wife lost, look at Nate Silver's work.
Well, look, it's not. Well, he says it's not Michigan and Wisconsin because she needed to win Florida or
Pennsylvania
or Ohio.
Ohio.
I think so. Yeah, there were a lot of states, and
There are. There
you know
are
the
50.
reason. You know why the reason Trump won is because he co-opted the policies of the Democratic Party. Basically, we have a Democrat and a Republican as the president right now. We just don't realize it. That's what Trump is. He's both parties.
Well, he's a flim-flam man, and he's already reneged on Obamacare, certain aspects of Obamacare. He's not going to go after the 11 women who accused him of sexually harassing. Remember that? I'm going to go after that. I'm going to, once I become president, I'm going to go after the, and more importantly, I don't think he's going to appoint a special prosecutor to go after Hillary Clinton. Because, you know why? Because they're nice people. He said on 60 Minutes, they're good people.
Can I change, make a slight alteration
Are
here?
you
But you can
speaking
veto
in
it.
non sequiturs? Yes.
Okay, here's my, you're talking about pardoning. They came out with a list. Obama's
Oh, yeah.
pardoning at a record rate.
1,104.
Okay, is he going to pardon Blagojevich?
That's, oh, come on. That's a separate talk topic, Bruce.
Bruce. Just a mini,
What are you trying to do to me
a
over
mini
here?
topic. It's Christmas
Well,
week.
I have said all along that I thought President Obama, as a father of two girls, you know, Rod's the father of two girls, that he would do the right thing, time served, let him out.
Well, wait a minute.
I mean, did you? I went to his resentencing hearing, and it was heartbreaking. Because I know them personally, and I know that they've done some nefarious things. They're not great people, but you got to look at him. He's a politician, but he's also a father, and he missed Amy's graduation from high school. He's going to miss her graduation from college. If she falls in love and gets married, he'll miss that because he still has 10 more years.
Well, here's
10
the thing.
more years. What a waste of our tax dollars.
Well, it's not a waste of our tax
No,
dollars.
yes, it is.
Here's
Time served, let Blago go.
Look, I'm just wondering. I always thought Blago had some dirt on somebody so that he needed to get, needed to be pardoned.
No, what I
That's
heard
the
is that
deal.
he was going to appoint himself to the Senate seat. And before that circus act started, they zoomed in on him. That's what my sources told me. Let's go to Larry, who lives in Bartlett. Good morning, Larry.
Hey, good morning, Amy and Bruce. I have a suggestion that let's put the whole election thing to bed. Since the left thinks winning isn't important anymore, let's just give Hillary a participation trophy and tell her to get the hell out of our world.
Thanks, Larry.
You said Larry from Bartlett, and I know this is very important. I went to school with a guy named Larry Bartlett. I'm just saying that. I'm just putting it out there. It's not a highlight. I wouldn't.
That's not me.
I know, Larry.
Larry just lives in Bartlett.
I get it.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook. or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, email, letter blast, e-blast you'd call it now, from my church about the Electoral college results and what we need to do about it. But first, here's your weather forecast.
Now, I didn't go to school with a guy named Nick from Niles, but Larry from Bartlett I did. Today, windy with clouds giving way to some sun. High of 30 tonight, thickening clouds, low of 18. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 33. Low tomorrow night, 25. Thursday, periods of clouds and sun, high of 33. Low Thursday night of 20. Now it's time for a check of traffic with Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Bruce. Northbound I-55 is a complete mess due to a couple of major crashes. Traffic's at a standstill from US 30 to Weber Road, where all traffic is diverted off the roadway due to an earlier overnight crash. There is also another one in the mix at 126, which has all lanes blocked, and traffic only gets by that one on the right shoulder. So coming from the south on I-55, you can take I-80 east to 355, north back to 55 to get around it. Farther north of Stevenson only has about a 3-minute delay from Cicero to Kedzie for now. The Edens is good. The Kennedy inbound got a 4-minute delay from River Road till Lawrence. The Eisenhower has delays starting at York Road. There's a stall before the Tri-State in the right lane. 42 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 30. Orion, 22 minutes, 90-50 downtown. Bishop Ford, 29 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
You know, the weather in Chicago is going to be terrible this year. The cold, the snow, the gray skies. But you know where it'll be warm and sunny for the next 5 months? Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. That's where Dan and Amy and the whole crew are headed in 2017. They're going to be staying at the Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa. It's an unlimited luxury resort that just opened in November. It has 5 gourmet restaurants, 7 bars serving unlimited premium drinks, and 24-hour room service. The resort has sparkling pools and access to pristine beaches. Join Dan and Amy, and I'm saying that Kristen McQuarrie of the Tribune should get to go as well because she sits in once in a while. That's my vote. I'm just saying it. Have the vacation of a lifetime with Dan and Amy. Get more information and book your trip by visiting 560theanswer.com. Keyword passport. The price that Apple Vacations has secured for this trip is incredible and exclusive to AM 560 The Answer. Don't miss out. Visit 560theanswer.com. Keyword passport.
In 2012, Barack Obama won the presidency because his campaign used the web in a very smart, effective way. In 2016, Donald Trump showed he could win by using the web in a different, but just as effective way. There are many ways that your business can profit by using the latest proven web techniques. AmericanEagle.com can show you how your organization can succeed beyond your wildest dreams by using all of the latest, most effective online web technologies available. AmericanEagle.com has over 20 years of website development experience and thousands of happy customers to back it up. No one matches AmericanEagle.com's ability to understand the online solutions your organization needs to be the leader in your industry. Design, development, apps, mobile, hosting, strategy, and more. AmericanEagle.com has done it all for all kinds of organizations in all kinds of industries. Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. They'll listen to you and come up with your winning solution. The number again, 773-NETWORK. Visit them online at AmericanEagle.com, the only name you need to know for website development.
You're on the go, up against life's daily challenges. You're up for that challenge every day, but need to take care of yourself. It's easy to get caught up with your routine and forget how much your body needs to stay properly hydrated to maintain peak performance. From hardworking tradesmen and busy professionals to moms running errands with the kids, many know the advantage to keep up the pace. Introducing MySport. MySport is your key to staying hydrated. Engineered by a bioscience company that knows you want healthier choices, MySport has the best hydration elements. You'll ditch those artificial flavors and heavy syrups and add the benefits of electrolytes, B vitamins, antioxidants, and best of all, get rid of that cloudy excuse for a drink you've been calling refreshing. The clear, healthier choice for hydration your body needs is MySport. Now through December 31st, visit misportdrink.com today and save 25% on all flavors. That's misportdrink.com. For healthier lives, MySport delivers more than hydration. misportdrink.com.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take balance of nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, talking about the Electoral College vote yesterday. Donald Trump, the big winner, but the big news coming out of yesterday is that more faithless electors for Hillary Clinton than for Donald Trump. Donald Trump just had 2 in Texas, and 1 voted for Ron Paul instead of Donald Trump. But 4 defectors for Hillary Clinton. 3 voted for Colin Powell, and this is out of Washington State. 3 voted for Colin Powell, and 1 voted for the faith-spotted eagle. And then people
Wait, the faith-spotted eagle, is that an endangered species, or is that a person?
No, that's a person in charge of the pipeline. It's the head of the Sioux Nation, and they're trying to stop the North Dakota pipeline.
And by Sioux, you're saying it in the Jerky Boy sense of sue everybody.
The Sioux tribe.
Oh, the Sioux tribe. Sitting Bull's tribe.
This is not a homophone. Yeah. Oh, we talked about that yesterday.
Teach me about language, Amy.
Okay. All right, easy there, Chief. Let's go to Fred, who joins us from the Northwest side. Good morning, Fred.
Morning. I think the reason Donald Trump won was it's not a victory for the Republicans. What Donald Trump's win was a big go to the devil to both political parties from the middle class in the Rust Belt. That's why he won. That's why Obama won, because he was perceived as being outside the usual Washington belt. And Colin Powell would have been your first black president because he was perceived as being the same thing, as being outside. And I don't think either political party's got it through their thick skulls yet. That's what's going on. The American people are sick of routine.
Can I just ask you a question, Fred?
Yeah.
Any of these policies that Trump is going to implement work? I mean, do you think that crony capitalism and making carrier, keep a few jobs in the United States while other, employers suffer, you think that any of this stuff is going to work?
Well, I can only find out because
it's not going to work.
And employees are suffering too.
Fred, here's the problem. This stuff, and I voted for Trump, okay, but it's not going to work. Here's why it's not going to work: because life is more complicated than a Rubik's cube. So while Trump solves one side of the Rubik's cube by making things okay for the carrier people, to the extent he's even done that, it's going to hurt other people. It's called.
Eventually, those carrier people are losing their job.
Well,
they already built the plant that's up and running.
You've heard of Frederick Bastiat.
Winners and losers in all policy.
No, but it shouldn't be that way. I'm sure Dan has lectured you on Frederick Bastiat's theory of concentrated benefits and dispersal of costs. Sure, you can concentrate some benefits to some people, make it look good for public relations purposes, and you disperse the costs among a lot of people, but eventually all those dispersed costs add up. And, then you wind up having like a state of Illinois that is going bankrupt.
All right, so this is a second round of mourning, though, for the left. It has begun because of yesterday's landslide Electoral College victory. And my church responded with a letter. 2016 draws to a close. We face together a world that in many ways feels more uncertain and broken than ever. In settings close to home and oceans away, we've seen shocking demonstrations that inequality, intolerance, hatred, and fear remain strong forces that we may have cared to not admit before.
I didn't realize you're a Reformed Jew.
Many of us feel knocked back, shaken, but we hold fast to the faith that all saints will respond with a spirit of resurrection and that we will rededicate ourselves to bending the long moral arc of the universe toward justice. Black capitals, now more than ever.
When are you going to drop out of that church?
I find it... I find it fascinating because they're good people, and I love my pastors. They're great people that go to church. We're just lying differently politically.
Do you speak up in this church?
No, I don't. But I'm going to ask if I can have a rebuttal at the lectern there.
We'll see how much they cherish your freedom of speech at that church.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
You've saved for retirement but aren't sure what to do with your savings. You need to make it work for you and make it last. The Alpha Wealth Group has cutting-edge programs designed to help you identify the challenges surrounding retirement. They'll help you create a clear picture and roadmap for your future, how to maintain your present standard of living and make your money last. So don't wait until you're left without options. Get answers you need in a free report, 5 Simple Steps to a Stress-Free Retirement. This invaluable report is from Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group here in Chicago. Tom is the host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturdays at 9 a.m. on AM 560 for the past 8 years, and has been featured in Fortune and on Fox Business. Are you ready to get serious about your retirement? Call the Alpha Wealth Group now for your free report, 5 Simple Steps to a Stress-Free Retirement, at 800-748-3185. That's 800-748-3185. Or visit alphawealthgroup.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com has pulled the trigger to bring you classes for Illinois gun owners. Take advantage of Illinois concealed carry classes from Safer USA. Dave Lombardo, class instructor, is offering his concealed carry 16-hour seminar for only $150. This seminar is normally $300. It covers everything you need to know to protect you and your family with a concealed carry firearm for personal protection or against a home invasion. Dave is a pro and former police officer. Get in a little range time as well with a 1-year range membership from the Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Winthrop Harbor. This is the premier gun range in Northeast Illinois, and a 1-year membership is only $149. That's a $350 value. Your range membership includes great discounts on products and services at the Outdoorsman Sports Shop. Find out all the details on ChicagoRadioDeals.com, also featuring great deals on many other lifestyle training classes at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the government is interfering in our Christmas parties. We'll explain. And later, Lena Dunham has really pushed the envelope, taken it way too far. We'll explain why coming up. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
16 degrees, cloudy skies. German police say the death toll in an apparent terror attack on the Christmas market of Berlin is at least 12. Officials say dozens more are injured after a semi-tractor trailer crashed into the crowd at a crowded market on Monday. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says right now she's assuming what happened at that Christmas market was a terror attack. The Electoral College confirming Donald Trump as president-elect. Texas pushing Trump over the magic number of 270, but it was the state of Pennsylvania that made the difference.
The vote for President of the United States was 20 votes for Donald J. Trump, and the vote for Vice President for the United States, 20 votes for Michael R. Pence.
Republican Trump won 306 electoral votes in the November 8th presidential election. There are reports that a gunman tried to enter the U.S. Embassy in the Turkish capital of Ankara, armed with a shotgun, firing shots in the air. Meantime, President-elect Donald Trump offered his condolences to the family of the Russian ambassador gunned down in Turkey yesterday. State Department spokesman John Kirby.
Without question, we would think that terrorism would need to be one thing investigated. But I don't think it's helpful for anybody to get ahead of this.
Kirby did call it an assassination. The ambassador was shot several times in the back by lone gunmen in the Turkish capital. North Carolina will dump its controversial bathroom law. Governor-elect Roy Cooper says he's gotten assurances from the GOP-controlled legislature that a special session will be called this week as soon as the city of Charlotte dumps its own controversial bathroom ordinance. The underwater drone taken by China last week is back in U.S. hands. Chicago police tell us this morning they're beefing up security at Daley Plaza at the Chris Kindle Market following a suspected terror attack in Germany. And authorities say one body has been recovered from inside a vehicle that crashed into a South suburban Linwood pond. Jimmy Butler had 19, Rajon Rondo 10 and 14. Bulls beat the Pistons 113-282. Surging Blackhawks square off against the Senators at the UC tonight. Chicago winners of 5 in a row. The news, a service of Staples. Staples can take care of all of your personal and business holiday shipping in store with UPS 7 days a week with all the packing supplies you need at great prices. Plus, from now until December 24th, get 10% off UPS shipping services. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher can't believe the Democrats are blaming Russia.
This is an absolute smokescreen by sore losers
who don't like the fact that Hillary Clinton was defeated.
If we were whining that Hillary won because of Russian interference, there'd be only one response in the halls of the New York Times and CNN.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
637. Let's check the roads at our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound I-55 traffic is at a standstill from US 30 to Weber Road due to two crashes. One at 126, which blocks everything but the right shoulder. Then another at Weber, which has the interstate shut down, and all traffic is forced off at Weber due to this crash before 53. Then farther north, there's another crash right at 53 in the left lane, so what traffic is there is backed up to Joliet Road. Take eastbound I-80 to northbound 355, back to 55 to get around it. Edens, 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 19. Kennedy, 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown outbound 22. The Eisenhower's 42 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 24 from Manheim. Got a stall before the Tri-State in the right lane. Outbound just 30 minutes to Thorndale. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Veterans Memorial northbound, slow Roosevelt before St. Charles with a crash on the right shoulder. Traffic is a service of account temps. Accounting and finance salaries are on the rise in 2017. And an in-depth salary forecast for more than 400 accounting and finance roles in your area by visiting them at accounttemps.com. Account Temps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Windy today. Clouds will give way to sunshine. High near 30. Thickening clouds at 18 overnight. Currently 17 at O'Hare, 18 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, powered by Tandem HR and sponsored by Everett College Funding. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
I don't remember that.
You were on barely today. The 4:30 in the morning show that was on for 30 minutes, for 4.5 months on Channel 5. Larry Wirt, kudos.
So you did the
Gave
whole
me the show.
I worked at that station for 12 years. I don't even remember.
I did that show with Ellie. Well, right.
Oh,
right.
Ellie Pai Hong.
Ellie Pai Hong. But anyway.
Ellie Pai Hong. Yeah. Excuse me.
Well,
don't correct me on my pronunciation.
Marion Brooks once teased the show. She was doing the 10 o'clock news the night before, and she said, "Don't forget tomorrow morning to watch Barely There." That was what she called it. So, and it was Barely There.
I think that's a deodorant brand.
But you were on the show because you were at the Super Bowl running through the sand in Miami.
I know, but I think I pre-taped that the night before, dear. I did not
I
get
did a
up
live shot with you, unless you were able to anticipate what I was going to be saying. But you were live.
Oh.
Yeah,
yeah,
on the
I
beach.
think I was.
Or you know what? It might have been Paula Ferris. You know, you blondes
She's
are
not
fungible.
blonde. She's brunette. But that's okay.
She had blonde hair
We
at
shared
the
a
time.
breast pump and a nanny, so there you go.
Well,
That's how we are bonded.
I was Channel 5's wet nurse, sportscasting wet nurse. Well, when Paula had a baby, I substituted for her. When Peggy Kaczynski had a baby, I substituted for her.
So you were the wet nurse.
Yeah,
That's
I
so
was the wet nurse.
cute.
Isn't that great?
He's so sweet.
Imagine how masculine I feel that I got to sub for the babes. Yeah, it's great.
All right, so the holiday season is among us, and as parents, we have to go to all these Christmas classroom Christmas parties with our kids, and you can't bring anything with peanuts in it. You can't, try to have low sugar, try not to have saturated fats. I mean, they give us a recommendation of class snacks you should bring. And now bigger government stepping in for these Christmas parties.
A threshold question right here.
Yes,
So,
can
can you bring peanuts if you also bring an EpiPen?
No.
Because
No, they used to have a peanut table where everybody
you can't even
had allergies. If you had lactose intolerant, everybody would sit at the same peanut milk lactose intolerant table. But now there's still milk, but there's absolutely no peanuts at all.
There's not like
because people die.
It's not like a Jim
you don't have
Crow
an
kind of
EpiPen.
thing, like for peanuts only, right over there. No,
It's a very serious thing.
No, I guess so.
Well, a girl in my sorority died. She had she had Chinese food and it was peanut based, and there was no EpiPen, and she died. It was awful.
By the way, they're coming out with a cheaper version of it right now.
Thank God.
But that's crony capitalism right there. How did the regulatory agency? How did they not let anybody else manufacture one of these things?
Oh yeah,
That's
the
what I
price
wanna
went up 510%.
All right, so here's what's happening. Apparently, in 2017, the U.S. Department of Agriculture will require all school districts that participate in school feeding programs, so that means just everybody, to create nutritional standards for all foods and beverages served in schools, including items brought to the school by parents and any food-based prizes given out by teachers. In other words, your holiday snacks, your Christmas snacks, will now be under federal regulation.
By the U.S. Department of Agriculture?
Well, it's going to require, I can't tell you specifically at this point what's going to be permitted and what's not going to be permitted, but the fact that, just think as a parent, you can't go to your local school and you cannot be trusted to bring snacks. I mean, you just told me about how sensitive everybody is to everyone's allergies. Do we need the federal government to require us to have standards for what we bring in during the Christmas season?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. I mean, I think big government's just getting a little bit bigger. Because remember back in 2010, Congress passed this school lunch reform where everybody had to eat healthier, and all that did was lead to massive food waste problems. Because I worked the lunchroom. They set up I called it the Michelle Obama salad bar. And it's a great idea for kids in high school where their taste buds are maybe a little bit more developed. But kindergarten, first graders, second graders, just a few girls would pick a few leaves of lettuce. I mean, we threw away pounds of food, pounds of it. And God bless John Hersey High School. I went to school there.
Sure.
Mush, Huskies. They declined federal funding, 6-figure federal funding, because they didn't want to be told what to feed the kids. Because the kids didn't like that food and they weren't eating it. And the whole point of school lunch is to eat your food.
In defense, now I don't like, the federal involvement in this, but when I went to school.
When you took the buggy?
Yeah, when I went to school, and I actually remember the first meal I had in first grade.
Really? What
which
was
I mean,
it?
it's like 1961 or something like that. Well, I was very concerned because it was like hot dog and beans or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to eat it all. I didn't want to. And the kid next to me, remember, it's Dennis Propp. He was next to me and he says, you don't have to eat all that. You're not forced to. I thought you were obligated because people are starving in Europe.
Were you obligated at home to eat, clean your plate?
Well, people are starving in Europe. So, but
There's
here's
people starving everywhere.
Well, here's the thing. Actually, there was a de facto Michelle Obama program in the schools. It wasn't, there was no federal involvement that way, but the food was so bad that nobody ate it. So you weren't getting fat. I mean, you had a sloppy Joe.
Oh, I love sloppy. Slopper Joe.
It was inedible meatloaf. So
meatloaf, gross.
Then all of a sudden you had vending machines. Like I was in Stevenson High School a number of years ago. They had me speak there. I mean, they had a McDonald's in the high school.
That school is nicer than some
It's
colleges.
a university.
Oh, it is.
But so it got crazy. It got crazy with all the choices and all the bad food. But you didn't need the federal government to tell you not to serve the bad food.
And speaking of vending machines, they did come in and put healthier foods in vending machines. And guess what? Nobody purchased any food in the vending machines. Let's say good morning to Ralph from Rantoul. Good morning, Ralph.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Bruce. I also think, along with all of these feeding guidelines, we need bite-sized guidelines. So there should be a standard federally mandated grid by which all food should be cut. And also a food chew counter affixed to every plate so that you can masticate your food a certain number of chews before swallowed. And, Bruce, did you say that it was a de facto Michelle Obama guideline or a de facto? Because I think she's...
I think it was both. I think, there's a
Don't
second
make her
meaning.
angry because she's not angry. Don't say that.
She's angry, and if you look like her, you'd be angry too.
Oh, my God. All right, thanks, Ralph. I think
That was gratuitous and uncalled for, but I enjoyed it.
I think she's gorgeous.
She's
Michelle
she's a
Obama.
pretty woman.
Oh, I think she's gorgeous.
But
and I don't like when people say she's big and everything because that's that's the low-hanging fruit.
No.
Oh, rip on her because she's got a big something.
You know what? Here's the thing.
Who cares? She's pretty.
If you open the door and you start talking about how pretty somebody is, then all of a sudden you're not allowed to dissect her anatomy. You're not allowed to do that
Well,
because
the
a
reason
gentleman
why people
doesn't do that.
The reason why people feel they can rip on her weight is because she had these healthier food guidelines, and of course they say, "Well, is she eating healthy? Is she following the same standards that she wants our kids to follow?"
I'm sure she does, but that's what she looks like. I mean, that's her anatomy. She is a pretty woman.
Don't kick the bear.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Can you believe it? Only 32 days until President
Christmas? Oh.
No, until President Obama's out of office.
Well, that's Christmas.
Can't talk about Michelle anymore, though. What's Melania going to do? Oh, no, it's not Melania. It's Ivanka.
Nobody's going to care about
Forecast
Melania.
for today, things are warming up.
It's going to be windy with clouds giving way to some sun, a high of 30 tonight. Thickening clouds, low of 18. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 33. Low tomorrow night, 25. Thursday, periods of clouds and sun, high of 33. Low Thursday night of 20. Now for a check of traffic. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Bruce. Famey, northbound I-55. Traffic stopped from Ren to Weber. There's a crash at 126 blocking everything but the right shoulder. Then another crash north of Weber near 53 that has everything shut down and traffic's forced off at Weber. The best alternate would have been eastbound I-80, but now that is a mess. From Hobel to Richards, there's a crash involving two semis blocking the left lane. So the whole area is really a mess. And southbound 55 now slow Joliet Road to 53 with a collision in the left lane. Farther north, Stevenson running about 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Edens, 28 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 37 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 23. Eisenhower, 42 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 33. The Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 30 minutes, from 8094 to the Ryan. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. New Jersey set to punish billionaire Carl Icahn. Volkswagen lawsuit judge offering another extension. Philly's soda tax won't be blocked. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention investors, your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A-plus Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
A San Francisco federal judge overseeing the lawsuit by Volkswagen owners caught in the emissions cheating scandal today gave the parties another extension. Any deal would cover 80,000 polluting Volkswagens. Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney hailing a judge's dismissal of a lawsuit that would have blocked a city tax on sodas. The law set to take effect next month. The new revenues it generates will pay for community schools and recreation centers. The New Jersey Assembly approving legislation to punish billionaire Carl Icahn for closing Atlantic City's Trump Taj Mahal Casino, imposing a 5-year license suspension for anyone selling casinos after January 2016. Icahn is the only person, of course, who fits the category. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hey guys, check this out. There's a brand new technology that's going to drive your wife or girlfriend wild. And it's probably not what you're thinking. It's even better. It's called Microvelvet, created by the PJ experts over at Pajamagram. And it's found only in their Tempting Touch PJs. Now, Tempting Touch PJs are simply the softest and most luxurious pajamas ever imagined. They're addictively soft. They beg to be touched. So go to pajamagram.com and get her the blissful comfort you know she deserves. And when she's happy, you'll be happy too. A holiday gift has never felt this tempting. Ooh. And you don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, Christmas delivery guaranteed. So visit pajamagram.com. That's pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs. That's 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. Forecasting the future is tricky business, as even the sabermetric Poindexters found out on November 8th, so I'll stick to wish casting for 2017. Since the left doesn't trust a Trump-led government and conservatives don't trust government, period, I wish for the bipartisan agreement Pauls are always clamoring on about to drastically reduce the size, scope, and expense of the federal Leviathan. I wish the governor of one of the adjacent Great Lakes states would colonize Illinois. I wish we would remember that smart is not a synonym for civilized. I wish the affluent would preach what they practice in the areas of family, education, work ethic, and personal responsibility. I wish Pope Francis would take his cues from the Word of God more so than the word of Leonardo DiCaprio. I wish more people would read Thomas Sowell and fewer would watch The View, The Chew, and the blathering Beltway magpies who have no clue. I wish those who claim to do everything in the name of the children actually did. I wish self-styled fiscal conservatives would learn that every issue is a moral issue and every law reflects someone's values. I wish for a return to the pre-post-truth era, and I wish you and yours a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2017.
AM 560, The Answer.
Okay, there's few things that actress Lena Dunham has been able to check off her to-do list. You know, she took a selfie on the toilet. She's appeared naked on TV. She's a left-winger who said she's going to move out of the country if Donald Trump wins. Well, she took this to a whole new level. She revealed on her podcast, Women of the Hour, last week that her deep regret about something, and it's about abortion. And to play the role of Lena Dunham is our very own David Stripling. David, can you please reenact what she said?
I always thought that I myself didn't stigmatize abortion. I'm a abortion rights activist. It's a huge part of who I am. But one day, when I was visiting a Planned Parenthood in Texas a few years ago, a young girl walked up to me and asked me if I would like to be a part of her project in which women share their stories of abortions. I sort of jumped. I haven't had an abortion, I told her. I wanted to make it really clear to her that as much as I was going out and fighting for other women's options, I myself have never had an abortion. And I realized that even I was carrying within myself stigma around this issue. Even I, the woman who cares as much about it as anybody about a woman's right to choose, felt that it was important that people know I was unblemished in this department. Now I can say that I still haven't had an abortion, but I wish I had.
Beautiful.
The mighty Amy art players. That's beautiful.
Well, I read that. I thought ignorance.
It's very persuasive and convincing, and I am actually sympathetic to Lena Dunham because of that reading
don't
right there.
Wish that you had an abortion because you want to be like other women who are down with the struggle.
As a man, I feel bad that I
head.
haven't had an abortion.
Well, she's ignorant, stupid, and I thought what she said was just insulting to women and to women who've had to make the tough decision whether or not to have an abortion.
She's a shock jock.
She's sick, but you know what it reminded me of? What? And the whole reason why we're doing this story, it reminded me of the time when Donald Trump wished that he had a Purple Heart.
Something very nice just happened to me. A man came up to me and he handed me his Purple Heart. Now, I said to him, is that like the real one or is that a copy? And he said, that's my real Purple Heart. I have such confidence in you. And I said, man, that's like big stuff. I always wanted to get the Purple Heart. This was much easier.
Wanting a Purple Heart, wanting an abortion, both sick.
Believe me.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're serious about selling your home, now's the time. Supply is low, and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. Now, I've done the research, and along with my Salem radio colleagues, Dennis Prager and Michael Medved, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free, guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106th out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day, attracting multiple full-price offers. Now, that demand helps sell your home fast at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I was selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd definitely call Saul. 888-346-0666 or call Saul, SAUL.net. Call Saul.net or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. There's no better place to be for the holidays than Chicago.
And this is Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Whether it's ice skating under the lights at Millennium Park,
or my favorite, visiting Candy Cane Lane in Lincolnwood to see the Noonan House with the tree magically rising through the roof,
or attending the annual tree lighting in downtown Downers Grove.
We wish you the very best this holiday season from Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio, Chicago's safe money specialist.
We are going to manage a portfolio to the extent where every single month, you know and you feel confident that no matter what market it is, that you don't need to play the guessing game and time the market, because it's not timing the market, it's time in the market.
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Chicago's safe money specialist. Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we'll have the latest on the terrorist attacks in Germany and the assassination of a Russian ambassador. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Bruce, Chicago police beefing up security around a downtown Christmas market. The former Mayor Daley set to give a deposition in a John Burge lawsuit. In Illinois to send license reminders even without a budget. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Did they get the terrorist or not? There's doubt developing in Germany.
We cannot confirm that he was in fact the driver.
That's Berlin's police chief a short while ago, as a newspaper report cites another police source saying they have the wrong guy, suggesting the man who drove the truck through a crowded Christmas market yesterday is on the run and armed.
At the moment, we have to assume it was a terrorist attack.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel, the man taken into custody after the attack that left 12 dead and nearly 50 injured, denies he was the driver.
A 23-year-old known to police, a refugee, but he had been known for petty crimes and not terrorist acts. The media is referring to him as Navid B. He arrived from Pakistan and Germany a year ago.
Fox's Amy Kellogg. Shots fired outside the U.S. Embassy in Turkey. It's now closed. And it happened not long after the Russian ambassador was assassinated. Fox's Alistair Wanklin live in our Asia Bureau.
That's right, Dave. A gunman approached the U.S. Embassy with a pump-action shotgun concealed beneath his coat. He opened fire before guards tackled him. This hours after an attacker shot dead Russia's ambassador to Turkey. That at point-blank range, the killer citing Russia's attacks on the Syrian city of Aleppo. President-elect Donald Trump blaming the assassination and the attack in Germany on Islamists. He said all terror networks must be eradicated. Dave?
Alistair, the president-elect also thanked his supporters after winning the Electoral College vote, adding in a tweet, despite all of the distorted and inaccurate media.
This is my America!
She protested in Wisconsin as Trump electors and supporters chanted. In the end, only 2 Trump electors from Texas went against him. 5 abandoned Hillary Clinton, and more tried but failed. And in the end, Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton with 304 electoral votes to 227. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Outside, cloudy skies this morning, 16 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Drivers expecting big delays this morning. You will find them on I-55 after a deadly crash involving 2 semi-tractor trailers near Bolingbrook. State police say the accident happened early this morning near Route 53. The latest on that developing story with Jim Talamonte in just a moment. Charges pending after a man was stabbed to death on Chicago's South Side. It happened during a domestic altercation, according to police, as they investigated near 43rd and Ellis. Chicago police beefing up security at the downtown Daley Plaza Chris Kindle Market following a suspected terror attack in Germany. Now, Chicago police tell us there isn't any threat to the city right now, but they will be increasing all of their patrols near Daley Plaza. A daycare employee is in stable condition after she was wounded by a stray bullet shot through a Calumet City Children's Home Center on Dalton Road. Gunshots were fired after 3 men began arguing nearby. No arrests have been made. Former Chicago Mayor Richard Daley is set to give a deposition in a federal lawsuit related to disgraced former Chicago Police Commander John Burge. The longtime city official will be deposed January 17th in the case of Alonzo Smith. A Northwest suburban official faces drug and gun charges, but still running for re-election next year. Hebron Village President John Jacobsons will seek a second term. Authorities say he was arrested earlier this year after cocaine, crack pipes, a shotgun, and ammunition were found inside his home. And don't worry about forgetting about your new license plate renewal in the new year. Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White's office says it will send a reminder even without a state budget. White's office made the announcement yesterday. Illinois' 6-month stopgap budget is due to expire at the end of the month. Jimmy Butler, 19, in the Bulls win over the Pistons, 113-82. Monday Night Football, Panthers upset the Redskins, and tonight the surging Blackhawks square off with the Senators at the UC. The news service of Staples. Staples can take care of all of your personal and business holiday shipping. In-store with UPS, 7 days a week with all the packing supplies you need at great prices. Plus, from now until December 24th, get 10% off UPS shipping services. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Has America's history been the result of a series of fortunate accidents? Is America great because of dumb luck? In his latest book, Michael Medved argues that something greater has been at work. Divine providence. Join AM 560's Michael Medved for a special lunch on Thursday, February 2nd at Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village as he tells the story of the American miracle. Get your tickets now at 560theanswer.com/miracle. That's 560theanswer.com/miracle.
This is Andy Bizup with another great reason to choose Midwest Performance Cars over the dealer for maintenance and repair of your European car. Reason number 2, trust. We don't sell cars, so we are not going to present you with an outrageous repair estimate to try and get you to trade up to a new car. Our goal is to keep your current car performing at its peak for a price that fits your budget. We don't have a second agenda or an attitude. Call our service advisors at 312-432-9492 or book online at MidwestPerformanceCars.com today.
The time to get your business ready for 2017 is now. So if you're ready to upgrade to a phone system that will deliver better business communications in the coming year, there's never been a better time to switch to Vonage Business, because our end-of-year sales event is on now. Switch to an award-winning phone system that boasts over 40 business-class features, including virtual receptionist, to give your company a 24-hour professional presence, and a free mobile app to keep you seamlessly connected on the go. Switch before the end of the year to take advantage of our limited-time phone sale, starting at 50% off. You'll also get a discount on the monthly service fee and waived activation to save you even more in the new year. Don't miss the Vonage end-of-year sales event and join the 75,000 other businesses that have already switched to Vonage Business. Hurry, offer ends December 31st. Visit Vonage.com/December or call 1-800-5-VONAGE. Terms and conditions apply.
7:06. Let's check the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Well, it's really a mess. On I-55 and northbound, traffic is at a complete standstill from US 30 up to Weber Road, where all traffic is forced off northbound 55 due to a crash. Happened around 3:30 this morning, just before 53. In addition, in that long delay, there's another crash at 126, which has everything blocked but the right shoulder. Your best alternate might have been to take eastbound I-80, but now that's jammed. Hopewell to Richards, there's a two-truck crash in the left lane, so you could take 52 through downtown Joliet. If you're coming from the west, you could use 47. The whole area is really bad. Northbound 355, Veterans Memorial Tollway. There are delays Butterfield to before St. Charles, to crash on the right shoulder. Get to that well south, though. You might be able to get around that crash a little bit. The Edens, 28 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy, 37 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 23. The Eisenhower's 40 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 33. In the Stevenson farther north, it's 48 minutes now. 355 to Lakeshore Drive and the Bryan, 22 minutes from 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
At 7:08, it's time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And time to check the forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here is meteorologist Brian May.
Breezy today with the clouds giving way to sun, high 30. Thickening clouds tonight, low 18. Cloudy tomorrow, high 33. Thursday, periods of clouds and sunshine, high Thursday, 33. I'm Brian May on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 17 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with Bruce Wolf sitting in for us this week on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
First, we heard glass breaking. We didn't know what was happening, but a lot of people running away.
It went just past me, past my girlfriend. I think it missed me by 3 meters, missed her by 5.
They are going down. They're looking for a way to change the losing game. And the question is, will we stay the course or will we overreact or make concessions?
The votes for President of the United States were cast and tabulated. All 16 electors cast their ballots for Donald J. Trump for President of the United States.
When you were labeled that angry black woman, was that one of the things that knocked you back a bit?
That was one of those things that you just sort of think, dang, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
You know?
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good Tuesday morning. A lot going on around the world, a lot going on here at home. We have 12 people killed in a terrorist attack in Berlin, Germany. And the news now is that 23-year-old Pakistani refugee who arrived a year ago into Germany, they're saying now that he may not be the truck driver. Police know him for petty crimes, and that's it, not for terrorist attacks. So he was picked up right after that horrific event, the terrorist attack. 12 dead, 48 injured. And it was at that open-air market, the Christmas market, which has been a tradition in Germany for how long?
700 years.
Oh, my goodness. And the narrow pass in between the booths, so it was so hard for people to get out of the way. It's exactly what happened in Nice over the summer, 86 killed during a Bastille Day celebration. So Germans knew that this was coming. They had warnings last November saying ISIS and Al-Qaeda are urging their followers to use their trucks as vehicle and to plow into crowded places. Soft targets, they say. But because of that now, we have extra patrols, foot patrol officers at the Kris Kringle market outside of the Daily Plaza. So,
and this is why we have a big cost. It seems little, relatively speaking, but you add it up over all the events and just how people are terrorized. They don't even want to go out to these things. So
because ISIS and Al-Qaeda said, watch out because we'll attack your parades.
Well, when are we going to do something about this? Donald Trump wants to name it Islamofascism. What's he going to do beyond that?
And he did yesterday, while President Obama was going golfing, he did release a statement, say these jihadist terrorists. So he called it like he sees it because we are under attack by ISIS. Keeping an eye on that, of course, if any developments break, we will bring it to you right away. And later at 8:08, Ed Morrissey will be here to talk about the Electoral College vote. And it made history yesterday, but not in the way you thought it would. But now we're going to change subjects a little bit and talk about Dylan Roof and what's next for Dylan Roof.
It's not necessarily that big a change in a subject because it's terrorism.
It is terrorism of a different kind, domestic terrorism. And you had a crazed individual who went into a church and prayed with people and then turned around and killed 9 people, including the pastor and a state senator. So with that, let's welcome back to the program Liza Lucas. She is a reporter for Live 5 News in Charleston, South Carolina. Of course, returning guest. Good morning, Liza. How are you?
Good morning, Amy and Bruce. Nice to be on this morning and be back.
Yeah. So were you, just tell us about the Dylan Roof, the trial, how it ended, how quick it came for jurors to come back with a verdict.
Oh, incredibly quick when you think about how long we've been anticipating this trial. This event, the shooting happened in June 2015. The jurors heard 2 weeks of testimony, and then it only took them 2 hours to come back and convict Dylan Roof on all 33 counts, all 33 federal counts. So a very quick process. They did ask for a little bit of additional testimony. They asked to see some more of the confession video, but even then, a very quick turnaround for this jury.
What was Dylan Roof's reaction when they read the verdict?
Oh, it was very interesting. The whole time I was in the courtroom on and off throughout this process. Cameras weren't allowed. As you may know, federal court doesn't allow cameras. So we were really watching because everyone wanted to know how he was reacting. And he was quite calm during this process. He was often sitting face forward. At times, he would kind of look to his attorney, but very little reaction from Roof throughout the course of the trial and even up to the verdict. We saw very little from him. He's just been kind of composed, almost disinterested in a way. Even when the survivors testified, they themselves noted that he never once even looked at them. He didn't seem to acknowledge the jury. He really sat there face forward during the course of the trial and just didn't have a lot of reaction, which is kind of similar to what we saw during the confession video. He was very calm and composed during that process as well.
Liza, I don't expect you necessarily to comment on this because you're a reporter, but we're on the radio. You can talk about it a little bit. The Kevin Williamson in National Review, I was just alluding to it a little bit earlier with Amy. We were talking about that this is actually a domestic terrorist act. Because conservatives like us don't necessarily believe, we don't like hate crimes. We don't like the designation of a hate crime because a murder is a murder and it doesn't matter, what the motive was. But in this case, what you have is a guy who was actually trying to start a race war. That is a terrorist act. And so you would think that the death penalty would be operable. I mean, you could send the guy to his death because of that. I don't know if you have any comment or perspective on this, but it is an interesting perspective.
That was a huge part of jury selection, whether these jurors would be able to make that decision, and it will be really interesting to see. Here we are, in Charleston, South Carolina, we have a tremendous group that really relies on their faith, and many people said during that jury selection, when it comes down to the death penalty, I don't know if I could or could not do it. So that was a big thing that Dylan Roof, when he was representing himself briefly during that process, that was a question that he really posed to jurors. So it's going to be really interesting when we come back on January 3rd for that sentencing phase to see what the jury decides and how long it takes. We're really expecting this part of the trial to take much longer than the testimony phase because these jurors have a lot to consider. And the whole idea of Ruth's mental state will certainly come into play. We're being told that he's not going to be presenting evidence relating to mental health, but at the same time, his attorneys were kind of setting the stage for that throughout the course of the trial, that his mental health is certainly in question throughout this process.
Well, is he going to?
Jurors are going to have to consider.
Yeah, is he going to be representing himself during the penalty phase?
He has requested to do so, and Judge Gergel has time and time again said that's probably not a good idea. He requested to represent himself during the testimony portion of the trial. He did briefly during jury selection, and then he handed it back over to his attorneys. There seemed to be too much going back and forth at the defense table to the judge's liking. So at the end of the day, the attorneys did represent him. But now again, Ruth says he wants to represent himself during the penalty phase of the trial. However, the judge says he has up until January 3rd to change his mind. So we've seen him fluctuate in the past. Not sure how this will pan out, and we're certainly prepared for it to fluctuate in the future.
I'm wondering if it's relevant that I recall the family members being very forgiving. Now, you can always forgive, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to waive, the notion of sentencing him to death or believing that he should be put to death. Actually, it's kind of almost a catch-22. Somebody who would represent himself is probably demonstrating.
Well, I heard he wants to represent himself so that the information about his mental health isn't revealed.
Well,
we already know he's crazy.
Well, here's the thing. If you represent yourself, you're probably that's evidence of the fact that you're crazy. It's a catch-22.
I think you can play it both ways. And
yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can play it both ways, and we've had experts throughout the course of this process saying the same thing. I know some national experts have spoken out saying, should Ruth get out? We're not sure exactly what he's going to say. Is this a chance for him to further terrorize these survivors and these families? At the same time, maybe it's him protecting himself and not wanting any of that mental capacity to be revealed further.
So, Liza, I watched those tapes, of him being interviewed by police, and it was just, it was very interesting in that they played those in tape too. What was your reaction when you saw those?
Chilling. I was in the courtroom during that process, and actually that was the first day I was doing coverage. We have an interesting schedule throughout this, coordinating both trials, as we've covered. And I was just chilled to the bone. I mean, we're sitting there for 2 hours, and as a reporter, you're trying to keep perspective, but you can't help be affected at some point. And I think throughout this process, we really saw the press, everyone from here locally to nationally, be affected by this story. I mean, at one point, we had reporters crying during testimony. We had lawyers, even at the defense table, crying, shaking their heads. So this is a very emotional process for everyone except for Dylan Roof. I mean, again, he was just sitting there throughout the course of this, and during that confession video, no reaction. As the confession video was played, no reaction, which was just a strange process to witness.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I seem to recall this is the case, of course, that wound up getting the Confederate flag banished, right? Isn't it? Am I right about that?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, that's what Nikki Haley banished. And then, of course, you couldn't show the Confederate flag. And I'm just wondering, I mean, is that like a done issue? I mean, is anybody, still in South Carolina, have they given up entirely on that? Because it seems like, they basically surrendered.
Reaction, yeah.
Well, they surrendered on the Confederate flag, and I mean, I'm sure you went over this, at the time about this controversy.
Well, I think that issue is always kind of skimming the surface. There is a question right now about where that flag is going to ultimately go, where it's going to be displayed at the State House. That's an ongoing issue, and it kind of pops up here and there when they have the relevant meetings, and it's certainly still a hot topic. A lot of people still see that as a historical reference, while others see that as a symbol of hate and racism. So it's still one that kind of sits below the surface and comes up from time to time. I don't know if we'll ever totally find an even ground when it comes to the Confederate flag.
All right. Thanks, Liza Lucas, so much for coming on the show, and we'll have you back soon.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Thanks. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Charleston, South Carolina, they've been busy with news, and Officer Slager, his cell was right next to Dylan Roof's for a while. Yeah, how'd you like to be the warden in that jail? Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, big news. Someone has turned down Donald Trump's offer to serve our country. We'll explain. But first, here's your forecast.
Today, windy with clouds giving way to some sun, a high of 30. Tonight, thickening clouds, low of 18. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 33. Low tomorrow night, 25. Thursday, periods of clouds and sun, a high of 33. Low Thursday night of 20. Now for a check of traffic, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Bruce. Northbound I-55 traffic is at a standstill from US 30 to Weber Road, where the interstate shut down due to a crash, T453. Now, the people stuck in the delay north of Weber are able to get past the crash site now, but slowly in the left lane. Another crash in the mix at 126 still has all lanes blocked. Only the right shoulder is open. The alternate would have been eastbound I-80. That's jammed from 55 to Richards. The left lane's blocked with a two-truck collision. Eden's inbound. 25 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 53 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 29. The Eisenhower's 47 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 33. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. Reagan to North Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
It's hard sleeping on a flat pillow, flip-flopping during the night, or waking up feeling unrested. I suggest you order a MyPillow today. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts to your individual sleep needs. It's washable, dryable, manufactured in America, and guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years. If you're thinking about that tough person to buy for on your holiday list, right now is the best time to buy. For a limited time only, when you buy one MyPillow, you'll receive another MyPillow absolutely free. Plus, 2 free Go Anywhere pillows. I like this. The money-back guarantee is extended through March 1st. Visit MyPillow.com, click the Radio Listener Special tab, and use the promo code AMY. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of 1, plus the extended money-back guarantee through March 1st for your holiday gifts. Or call 800-489-0201, mention the Radio Listener Special, and be sure to use the promo code AMY. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month supply of fiber and spice, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good, but you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
Which was your favorite? Rocky
Yo,
1?
Amy, you know, when I saw...
Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 5.
Can I confess that I didn't see anything beyond the first Rocky? I know that's like worse than only seeing one Star Wars.
No, that's being committed.
Gene Siskel, the late Gene Siskel, loved him. I always used to kid him, and I'm dropping his name right here, used to kid him that he gave Rocky 4 stars, which was ridiculous. It was horrible. But
did he give it 4 stars?
He gave it 4 stars.
Why?
Ebert gave it like negative 4 stars. But Rocky, the music, when I saw that in the movie theater, and
did you get up and run?
Everybody got out of the movie theater in the parking lot. Everybody was shadow boxing and
lighting barrels on fire.
Nobody
Take
was
me back.
Totally,
Take it back.
It was so inspiring.
A boogie down. Oh,
you know that's one of the greatest movies of all time.
Oh, it was great.
Rocky.
Adrian.
And then Stallone. Oh my God. Well, he's looked good recently.
Well, he has been tapped by President-elect Donald Trump to serve as the National Endowment for the Arts director.
But he doesn't want to be it.
Well, it's, in case you don't know what...
Donald.
I'm talking to you. In case you don't know what the NEA is, it's an independent agency from the federal government that offers support and funding for projects exhibiting artistic excellence.
We don't need it. It's superfluous. We don't need the federal government involved in the arts.
Congress passed it in 1965.
Yes.
You know, so maybe it's
Why do we need the feds?
Course.
Why do we need the feds to be?
But here's
Rick Perry wants to eliminate it if he knows that it exists. That's all I'm saying.
So Stallone himself responded yesterday. Ladies, I'm sorry, but he told People magazine that he has no interest in the job. Quote, I'm incredibly flattered. Or should I do it in my Stallone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I don't have an inner Stallone. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you want to? Right.
Every guy can do Stallone, right?
Yeah, I'm incredibly flattered.
Oh, go ahead.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's fine.
To have been suggested to be involved with the National Endowment of the Arts. No,
you sound like Talia Shire reading that.
However, I
not
believe
Sylvester Stallone.
I could be more effective by bringing national attention to returning military personnel in an effort to find gainful employment, suitable housing, and financial assistance these heroes respectfully deserve.
Sure.
Maybe he should be in
Rambo.
charge of VA because I still have to assign the secretary of the VA. Yeah, that's Rambo.
Yeah, so he's got the cred because he's Rambo.
Well, the problem with this position, besides the fact that the whole thing should be eliminated, he'd have to move to Washington, D.C.
Well, why doesn't he just move in with Bruno and Melania? What's Melania?
Bruno?
What's their son's name again?
His name is Barron.
Barron. I knew it was one of those.
He has his whole floor built. They have 3 floors in the Trump Plaza Hotel in New York. The 3rd floor is all his.
All Barron?
Can you imagine?
Well,
That's awesome. Why would you move from 5th Avenue to Pennsylvania?
Oh, my goodness. Why would anybody want to move into the White House? There have only been 45 residents of it in 200-plus years.
Again, I'm telling you, Melania and Barron will never move into the White House. Ever. They're not going to do it. It's not nice enough for them. There's not gold-plated things, like light fixtures and toilet seats.
The most gauche thing in the world is that when Leslie Stahl did that interview with Trump and the whole family, with the piano in the background, which
it's
only
so ostentatious.
needed a candelabra to make, and Liberace there, and and he's so gaudy.
I know, it's just matches his personality. You know, it's not refined. That's not classy looking. That's ostentatious.
He is totally a man of the people.
But here's the thing.
He's the most man of the people billionaire I've ever seen.
Because I wanted to get this off my chest, but I could never talk about it with Dan.
Sure.
I think they're coddling Barron a little bit too much because members of the military have to move their family from town to town all the time while they're serving our country. Donald Trump is now serving our country, and his family should hold themselves to the same standards that everybody else does.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Andy Bizup from Midwest Performance Cars, your best choice for maintenance and repair of your European automobile. We think 2017 will be our best year yet, and we're looking to add to our team. If you are an automotive technician or you know of an outstanding technician looking to grow, we'd like to talk to you about joining our MPC family. If you are the best of the best, if you repair vehicles correctly the first time, if you have a great reputation and ethics beyond reproach, call us at 312-432-9492. Find us online at MidwestPerformanceCars.com, and you can see a photo gallery of the great cars we work on and the precision work we perform every day, from oil changes to brakes, warning lights to engine rebuilds. We offer paid holidays and vacation time, shared health coverage. We continually seek out the best training for all of our people, and we pay to send them to training, whether it be local or across the U.S. Take your automotive career to the next level. Join our team and help us to make it a great 2017.
AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, we got a great text message from the one and only Amish texter. A Trump kid living in public housing? Never. In regards to Barron. Don't let a 10-year-old run your household. Coming up next on Chicago's Morning Answer, we'll have the latest on the terror attack in Germany and the assassination of the Russian ambassador in Turkey. Plus, we got it back. We've got our Chinese drone back. We'll go over it all with Jed Babin.
I love this Conti theme. Oh, my. It's one of the great theme songs of all time.
Bruce is waxing nostalgia.
Yeah.
Now let's go back into
Waxing
the newsroom.
my legs, too.
Here's Mike Scott.
I didn't want to see that. Thanks, Bruce. I have a full view of your legs, dude. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of shiny from here. I'll have to put my sunglasses on. 17 outside. Cloudy skies. Winds are south at 50 an hour. And that does, by the way, give us a wind chill of 0 this morning. Multiple reports in Germany this morning say police may have the wrong person in custody for the Berlin Christmas market attack that killed at least 12. Berlin's police president said officials cannot be certain the man in custody right now was the driver of the semi that plowed into the crowded market. Here in Chicago, drivers can expect big delays following a deadly crash involving 2 semi-tractor trailers on I-55 near Bolingbrook. It happened early this morning near Route 53. One person proclaimed dead at the scene. Authorities say one body has been recovered from inside a vehicle that crashed into a south suburban Linwood pond. Man was found dead yesterday after crews pulled that car from the freezing water along Lincoln Highway. President Barack Obama pardons one Illinois resident and shortens the sentences of 7 others in this state convicted of federal crimes. Sony is reportedly this morning in the early stages of rebooting some classic 1970s sitcoms from television legend Norman Lear. Variety is reporting that All in the Family, The Jeffersons, and Good Times are going to have some classic episodes recreated, likely with new actors. Sony is set to launch a remake of some of Lear's classics, including One Day at a Time, premiering on Netflix on January 6. Chicago sports, Bulls beat the Pistons 113-82. College basketball winners, number 15 Purdue over Western Illinois. Mississippi defeated Bradley, and DePaul was a winner over Southeast Missouri State. The news service of Hum by Verizon. Hum by Verizon is the smart technology that you need to upgrade to a safer, more connected car. Plug it in for amazing features like emergency assistance, vehicle diagnostics, vehicle location, speed, and boundary alerts, and more. Upgrade your car with Hum today at hum.com. Hum. Put some smarts in your car. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says it's hard to undo the damage from the left.
Many people on the left really do believe what they believe. There is a sincerity of belief. The truth is, it's a big part of the problem. So it's very, very difficult to undo the damage of beliefs that are utterly false.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Centrum Silver, now verified non-GMO and gluten-free, with daily nutrients to support your heart, brain, eyes, and all the most important parts of you.
NIV Live, a breathtaking Bible experience, is the perfect Christmas gift. Voiced by award-winning actors, musicians, and pastors, it brings Bible characters to life from Genesis to Revelation.
Truly I tell you, one of you will betray me.
God of Israel says, "Let my people go."
Surely your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings.
I have seen the Lord.
Where is your God?
Let there be light.
The NIV Live complete audio set retails for $125, but you can buy it from Faithgate this Christmas for only $29.95 with free 3-day shipping. This special offer is only available online at nivlivespecial.com. The perfect Christmas gift for spouses, parents, and grandparents. Get this 79 CD set for only $29.95 with free 3-day shipping only at nivlivespecial.com. Order yours for Christmas at nivlivespecial.com. Limit 7 sets per order. Only at nivlivespecial.com.
As a parent, nothing fills you with pride more than your child excelling at something they love. For some, it's sports. For others, photography. At Center Stage Dance Studio in Bloomingdale at Stratford Square Mall, it's dance. Children of all ages have embraced dance at Center Stage for years. And now with their new state-of-the-art 11,000 square foot location, there's the new Little Princess birthday party room, homework room, new eating area, and a new separate secure entrance. Daily Herald readers voted Center Stage one of the best dance studios in the DuPage County area. From 2-year-olds to competitive dancers, classes exist for all styles of expression. Tap, jazz, ballet, lyrical, even tumbling classes. Dancer Magazine voted Center Stage one of the top 25 dance studios in North America. Their professional staff has over 125 years of combined teaching experience. Register for classes today. Call 630-529-9080 or visit centerstagedanceonline.com. Center Stage Dance Studio, upper level at Stratford Square Mall in Bloomingdale, just outside of Macy's.
7:36 and a check of our roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound I-55 is completely jammed for US 30 to Weber Road. A crash which happened around 3:30 this morning, actually north of there before 53, has everything shut down. Traffic's forced off at Weber. Another crash in the mix at 126 now has only 2 left lanes blocked, but this is a huge backup. The best alternate would have been eastbound I-80, but that's jammed. 55 to Richards with a crash in the left lane. Get a 52 through Joliet or US 6 to 355. Eden's 25 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy now 57 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. The Eisenhower, 49 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 33. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Veterans Memorial, very slow from 75th most of the way to Roosevelt. Traffic is a service of American Express Open. Business cards from American Express can help cover the big purchases you need to make when you need to make them. Find out how American Express Open cards and services can help prepare you for growth at open.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Windy today with clouds giving way to sunshine. High near 30. Clouds will thicken up again overnight, low 18. We have gusty winds right now out of the south-southwest at 15 miles an hour, giving us a wind chill of 0. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good Tuesday morning, a very busy morning that is around the world. You have a terror investigation underway after a truck plowed into a crowd in Berlin, Germany, killing 12 people. Now there's reports this morning, and Mike Scott talked about it too, that the 23-year-old Pakistani refugee who arrived a year ago in Germany is the possible wrong person, and that the terrorists may still be on the run because police were familiar with him because he was known for petty crimes, but not for terrorist attacks. And the truck, which was carrying 25 tons of steel, was allegedly stolen from a construction site in Poland. And the passenger in the car was Polish. He died. as well. And then that truck was taken to the crowded market where he plowed into just dozens of people. And ISIS and Al-Qaeda said in November, they encourage people, use trucks as weapons to kill Christians.
Right.
And they're warning, too, in America, saying, watch out at parades because we're going to come and get you.
I get a little nervous when I think about, any schism between Germany and Poland. It's just like a throwback for me. But this is terrorism.
Yes, this is different. And also then after, moments after the attack in Germany, then you have the Russian ambassador to Turkey was assassinated by a 22-year-old police officer from Ankara from Turkey. He was screaming, Allah Akbar, God is great, and don't forget, this is for Aleppo and for what happened in Syria.
I can listen to it, but I would not look at it.
Really? I watched it.
No, you can't look at it.
And I showed my kids, too. They need to see what terrorists and madmen and people of the devil look like.
It can be described to them. I'm not going to call DCFS on you, but I'm just warning you.
Oh, you're warning me. Okay. Yeah. So the big question here, though, is how will this affect the evacuation crisis in Aleppo? With that and much more. And also, the Chinese drone has been returned.
Sure.
Let's welcome back.
After they stole it.
Yeah. Let's welcome back to the program Jed Babin, former United States Deputy Undersecretary of Defense. Good morning, Mr. Babin. How are you?
Well, so far, so good. How are you guys?
Well, good. So how is this going to affect the evacuation crisis in Aleppo?
Probably not much. The evacuation crisis is a crisis created by Russia and by the Syrian government. And where basically they're not going to change what they're doing. They've been basically bombing the heck out of Aleppo and killing a lot of people there and trying to kill the opposition to Bashar Assad. So this really doesn't have anything to do with it. The assassination of the Russian ambassador in Turkey and the terror attack in Berlin are unrelated events insofar as those particular countries are involved, Russia and Syria. But the fact is that, we have a situation where Turkey is not effectively, but directly helping terrorist groups. They're keeping a lot of terrorists there and giving them homeland and home base. And this is kind of a natural emanation of that. Turkey has turned into a radical Islamist state. It is no longer a reliable ally to the United States. And so far as the attack in Berlin goes, it's a foreseeable effect of what happened in the refugees, entrance into Germany. I mean, there were like 1.1 million of them who came in, and many of them, most of them, I'm told, are men of military age, and there are a lot of them who are radicals. So this is kind of what you have to expect, and it's certainly not going to discontinue. It's going to get worse.
Yeah, and in Germany, it was the first mass casualty since they took in 1.1 million refugees. Do you think they're going to change their vetting process now, possibly?
Too late. I mean, what's the point? They've got 1 million people in there. You're not going to throw them out. The EU laws will not allow them to throw out all of those people or even most of those people. So they can vet them till the cows come home. That's the problem we have, too, because vetting is really not very practical and frankly, a useless process in most cases anyway, because you don't have reliable records of the countries of origin, people coming out of countries like Syria and Afghanistan and Iraq and so forth. There is no database against which you can check a person's identity. So you can vet them all day and all night, and it really doesn't do you much of any good. It can't tell you who these people are. It can't tell you who they're associated with. It can't tell you if they're going to be terrorists.
Forget about the current refugees. You actually have problems with second generation or, the sons of immigrants. So there's already that problem, who are committing these crimes. But let me turn your attention to China just for a second. I don't understand the niceties of diplomacy and the kabuki theater that is played among nations. But we know that Trump's overture to Taiwan was seen by a number in the international community as kind of an aggressive thing or not part of the way you conduct business. He's almost like a bull in a china shop. as it were, or as George Will, I believe, once said, he carries around his own china shop with him. But
well, actually, it was Winston Churchill who said that.
Exactly. I'm sorry.
Gosh, Bruce,
it was Churchill.
On.
It was George Will quoting like Churchill.
Will,
yeah.
I like George Will, but I don't want to give him credit for things he didn't do. I mean,
thank you.
The fact is that Donald Trump is trying to upset what's been going on, and it's a good thing that he is, because we've had a lot of policies that for decades have not worked. I mean, yes, they're stable. Yes, they're fine as it goes, and yes, the diplomatic community is loving them. The fact is, it does not advance American interests. And the fact that he talked to the Taiwanese president, newly elected, is a good thing. I mean, who is China, mainland China, communist China? Who are they to say who a president of the United States can and cannot talk to? That's ridiculous. And Mr. Trump is certainly right in not putting up with it. And all the other things I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I mean, you should interrupt me, because I was about to say that it was George Will who said democracy is a bad form of government, but all the rest are worse. Let me
except for Benjamin Franklin, who came before that. Okay.
Whatever.
You're on a roll today.
To me, it's all George Will all the time. But do you interpret the facts? And I know we're just going to have a congressional inquiry or something that'll go nowhere on this.
Pentagon investigation.
Whatever. What I'm thinking is, but you look at the facts here. We've got this USNS Bowditch, an unarmed oceanographic survey ship. It's trying to retrieve this drone. And then this Chinese Navy submarine rescue vessel launches a small boat and seizes the vehicle. They're, of course, saying they're not stealing it, and they did their stealing in a responsible and professional manner. So,
well, they both have gross different interpretations of what this was. I mean, China said that it was a friendly consultation between China and the United States, so they gave the drone back.
Amy, we're talking to somebody who knows the difference between Benjamin Franklin and Winston Churchill.
Funny.
So wait a minute. Let's talk about friendly and confrontation.
Okay, this is what the Chinese Ministry of Defense said. After friendly consultations between China and the United States, the transfer of the U.S. underwater drone was smoothly completed.
Did they steal this? In your opinion, based on your years of experience and your ability to separate a George Will quote from Benjamin Franklin, do you believe, sir, that this was stolen?
Well, of course it was, for heaven's sake.
Okay,
it didn't jump itself on the ship.
It's an act of piracy. Let's call it what it is. Mm-hmm. They came up to our drone, which was on the surface. They stole it. The USNS Bowditch is not an armed vessel. It's not a combatant warship. So they couldn't do anything about it. And the Chinese just sailed off with the drone. And, let's talk about what the drone might have been doing. Well, whether or not it was on a spy mission or not, and certainly a drone can carry an awful lot of stuff on it, whether it's on a reconnaissance mission or ocean measuring ocean temperatures. Whatever it was, the Chinese had the drone, still have it, as far as I know, and they're cracking it open. They're finding out what sensors are on it, how good they are. They're able to reverse engineer our drones and whatever else is on them. And quite frankly, they're able to find out what the drone found out.
But here's the thing.
Well, CNN said they turned the drone over.
But here's the thing. I mean, trying to
we
paint
always believe CNN. Don't we?
Right. Paint the picture. If you paint the picture, the Chinese Navy submarine knows it's one of our drones because you've got the Bowditch right over there. I mean, they know it is, so they know they're taking something. Am I right about this, or do I not understand what the facts of the case?
No, you're absolutely right. They knew the drone was being operated off the Bowditch, and they came up to it. I don't know if it was a submarine that seized it. I don't believe it was. It was a surface ship.
I thought it was a Navy submarine.
Anyway, whatever it was, they came up. They stole the drone.
Okay, one last quick thing.
Cut the cables.
We have to go because I've wasted time, quoting people that I don't even know.
This is boring.
No, here's what's interesting. What people in the United States don't realize is this is 50 miles northwest of the Philippines.
Right.
This is,
it's international waters.
It's not like near, it's not like part of mainland China, we're talking about, right?
Think about this, guys. They were talking to Rodrigo Duterte, the new president of the Philippines, who's been sucking up to China recently and trying to say, well, maybe I want to be your ally instead of the United States ally. They're sending him a message saying, we're strong here, the United States is not, so you better stick with us, buddy. And that's a very unsubtle message to him, and that's another benefit to them.
And it's that kind of brilliance is why we have Judd Babin come on the show. Thank you so much, Judd. Have a wonderful
blood, sweat,
Christmas.
and tears. George Will said blood, sweat, and tears.
Okay. George Will quotes later. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us.
Said, don't give up the ship, right?
Right.
Never mind.
Until you see the whites of their eyes.
Judd Babin,
Exactly.
Thank you, former United States Deputy Undersecretary of Defense. He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, George Will quotes. Kidding. Here's your weather forecast.
You know,
you made me go to my happy place. I don't like to go to my happy place.
What we were having fun.
I know. I know you guys are young. No, it's cute.
No, I mean the guy.
No, it's really
the guy,
cute.
An undersecretary of defense, showed that I'm a dumb person.
No, it's sweet.
All right, today windy with clouds giving way to some sun. High of 30 tonight. Thickening clouds, low of 18. Tomorrow mostly cloudy. High of 33. Low tomorrow night 25. Thursday, periods of clouds and sun, high of 33, low Thursday night 20. Now for a check of traffic, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Bruce and Amy. Northbound I-55, it's still a complete mess from US 30 to Weber, where traffic is forced off the interstate due to a much earlier crash, which happened before 53. There's another collision in the mix at 126, blocking 2 left lanes. Eastbound is jammed from 55 to Richard. There's a 2-truck crash there in the left lane. Eden's 21 minutes either way between Lake Hook and Montrose. The Kennedy, 57 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. Eisenhower's 47 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 33. Stevenson, 48 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. Ryan, 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State slow 87th to 75th from the Stevenson to 31st. Reagan all the way to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial, 63rd most of the way to Roosevelt. Army Trail to 290. Other tollways are lighter than normal. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, Dan Proft here. Gentlemen, this time of year can be exhausting and stressful, but if you feel a lack of energy or motivation, no matter what time of year, it's time to get your testosterone levels checked. Stress is associated with low testosterone and can worsen symptoms like fatigue, trouble sleeping, and can affect your mood. I personally recommend going to Low T Center. They make it easy. You walk in, you take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get you through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap after lunch, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, and cause weight gain. Low T Center accepts most health insurance and has flexible hours, including Saturdays. So don't hesitate to find out what your number is. I'm sure glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center today and tell them Dan Proft sent you. The number is 630-409-4305. Call 630-409-4305. Again, the number 630-409-4305, or go to lowtcenter.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
All right, guys, huddle up. Coach's car battery died and he's running behind. And since I haven't been paying attention, I have no idea what plays we run or what most of your names are for that matter. So what I'll do is I'm going to pop this antacid tablet, I'll fall down, I'll fake a heart attack, and then you guys act shocked and concerned and stuff. And hopefully that'll buy me enough time for the coach to get here. All right, team on 3.
Make sure you'll be there. Get a car battery test today. Find a location at interstatebatteries.com. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
Attention shoppers, modern life deserves a modern way to pay. Say hello to MasterPass, the simple, secure way to pay from MasterCard. Not a fan of filling out shopping forms over and over again? MasterPass. Looking for a simple and secure way to buy all of your holiday gifts? MasterPass. Set it up once and you're free to shop online, in-app, or in your favorite stores. MasterPass. So next time, don't just buy it, master pass it. Accept it at select merchants.
AM 560, The Answer.
Well, we're teetering on reaching our goal to provide food for a year and water for life for 1,500 children in Haiti and Guatemala. And if you're a business owner or marketing director for your company, listen up. We have a great deal. It's called our Business Benefactor Program, and there's only a few slots left. And here's what it entails. You make a one-time donation of $2,500. It's tax deductible. The money goes to Food for the Poor. And as a way of saying thanks, we will give you 40 60-second spots that'll air Monday through Friday right here on AM 560, The Answer. It really is the best advertising deal in all of Chicagoland radio. And the money will go to help feed 50 children for a year and give them clean water for life. So if you want to take part in that program, it's really a lot of our advertisers, Bruce, started out as business benefactors, and now they advertise.
Terrific.
Tom Sadeka from Precision Payroll, he was one. So if you want to have your questions answered, if you're thinking about it but you're not sure, call our general manager. He'll answer all of your questions. Great guy, friendly. His name's Jeff Reisman, and his phone number is 847-472-8921. That's 847-472-8921. We want to thank some of our business benefactors who've already signed up. Champion Roofing, Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, LPS Corporation, Americal Products Corporation, CashCasters.com, Center Stage Dance Studio. I mean, the list goes on and on. But again, we only have a few slots left, so you have to act now. Call Jeff Reisman, 847-472-8921.
And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
From childhood, we're taught that to be moral is to be altruistic. For philosopher Ayn Rand, no doctrine could be more evil. Altruism, Rand explained, does not mean being kind or generous towards others. Instead, altruism is the moral philosophy that says you don't have a right to exist for your own sake. It's the idea that service to others is the only justification for your existence, and that self-sacrifice is your highest moral duty, virtue, and value. Altruism is hostile to the founding principles of this great country and what makes human life great, that each individual has the inalienable right to pursue his own life and happiness. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brook's Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the Donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I didn't get a cold is a miracle in mine because most years I would get like bronchitis 6 times.
I haven't had a cold in like 5 years. I attribute that to the fruit and vegetables and the fiber and spice.
I drive ambulance. I'm in hospitals all the time, and ever since I've been taking it, I haven't gotten sick.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the Electoral College made history yesterday, but not in the way you thought it would. We'll speak with Ed Morrissey.
And is Chicago on the list of most caring cities?
You'll find out. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Big changes as police investigate that terror attack in Germany. Fox News with the latest on that story coming up. Drivers can expect big delays following a deadly crash involving two semi-tractor trailers along I-55. The Bulls break out of a slump and rout the Pistons. And a cloudy day ahead this morning. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Who did it? That's still the big question in Germany, where there's some doubt the man taken into custody after a deadly truck attack in Berlin is the right guy. Fox's Alistair Wanklin has the latest live.
That's right, Dave. The hijacked truck rammed into pedestrians at a market selling Christmas food and gifts. 12 people dead, 30 seriously injured. German police arresting a man, but they now say the attacker may still be at large. One witness saying, "It's lucky it wasn't a weekend when the market would have been much busier." Authorities considering it terrorism. It resembles an attack on revelers in France last summer. And in the past few hours, Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel saying it'll be bitter if the attacker is identified as one of the million-plus migrants who arrived in Germany this year. Dave?
Well, Mr. President-elect Trump has tweeted the civilized world must change thinking as he points a finger at radical Islam. Fox's Melanie Wilkes live in Washington.
Dave, although the killings in both Berlin and Ankara are still being investigated, the president-elect is pinning them on terrorism perpetuated by Islamic extremists without backing up his claims. On the Berlin attack, Mr. Trump said in a statement that ISIS and other Islamic terrorists continually slaughter Christians in their communities and must be eradicated from the face of the earth. In a separate statement, he called the man who shot the Russian ambassadors to Turkey, quote, a radical Islamic terrorist. Dave?
Melanie, Russian investigators are trying to determine if the Turkish police officer who assassinated the Russian ambassador acted alone or was part of a conspiracy. Hours later, shots were fired outside the now-closed U.S. Embassy in Ankara. The gunman was taken into custody. Journey has finally ended up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Leading the class of 2017, Pearl Jam will also be inducted next year, along with classic rockers Yes and ELO, and two others slightly different, folk singer Joan Baez and the late rapper Tupac Shakur. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
17 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, winds out of the south at 15, giving us a wind chill of 0 at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Drivers are seeing big delays following a deadly crash involving two semi-tractor trailers on I-55 near southwest suburban Bolingbrook. One person was pronounced dead at the scene of the accident near Route 53 this morning. Charges pending after a man was stabbed to death on Chicago's south side. The victim attacked last night during a domestic altercation near 43rd and Ellis. Chicago police are beefing up security around the Daily Plaza Chris Kindle Market following a suspected terror attack in Germany. A daycare employee is in stable condition this morning. She was wounded by a stray bullet in Calumet City. The victim shot yesterday near the Children's Home Center on Dalton Avenue. Police say gunshots were fired after three men began arguing inside a nearby convenience store. No arrests have been made. Former Chicago Mayor Richard Daley is set to give a deposition in a federal lawsuit related to disgraced former Chicago Police Commander John Burge. The longtime city official will be deposed January 17. Chicago sports, Jimmy Butler 19, Rajon Rondo 14 assists. Bulls beat the Pistons 113-82 Monday night. Cam Newton passed for 300 yards as the Panthers upset the Redskins 26-15 on Monday Night Football. The surging Blackhawks square off with Ottawa tonight at the UC. The news, a service of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid? But they're not. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Americans aren't buying as many passenger cars, so General Motors will be closing 5 assembly plants for 1 to 3 weeks in January to cut back on production. USA Today says approximately 10,000 workers will be temporarily out of their jobs, but will receive supplemental pay and unemployment benefits. BlackBerry made a surprise profit in its recent quarter. BlackBerry, an innovator of the smartphone, is now a mobile security company. General Mills is reporting a disappointing fall quarter. Earnings were weaker than a year ago. General Mills makes everything from Cheerios to Progresso soup. And Weetabix is being sold. China's Bright Food Group wants to sell its interest in the British breakfast cereal. Bright Foods has hired Goldman Sachs to help it sell the brand. The Dow was up 39 yesterday, NASDAQ up 20, and the S&P was up 4. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It's 8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity believes we need to build a cyber wall.
I've been saying that we need to fix cybersecurity. We need to beef it up. Well, Obama's known about this for the entire presidency of his. And what has he done to fix it? The only thing he's done is now speak out, 5 weeks after the election? Because it may advance a narrative to delegitimize Donald Trump?
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
The time to get your business ready for 2017 is now. So if you're ready to upgrade to a phone system that will deliver better business communications in the coming year, there's never been a better time to switch to Vonage Business, because our end-of-year sales event is on now. Switch to an award-winning phone system that boasts over 40 business-class features, including virtual receptionist, to give your company a 24-hour professional presence, and a free mobile app to keep you seamlessly connected on the go. Switch before the end of the year to take advantage of our limited-time phone sale, starting at 50% off. You'll also get a discount on the monthly service fee and waived activation to save you even more in the new year. Don't miss the Vonage end-of-year sales event and join the 75,000 other businesses that have already switched to Vonage Business. Hurry, offer ends December 31st. Visit Vonage.com/December or call 1-800-5-VONAGE. Terms and conditions apply.
It is 8:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. No change on northbound I-55. It is completely jammed from US 30 to Weber Road, where traffic is forced off the interstate due to a crash, which happened before 53 around 3:30 this morning. There's also a crash on at 126 in the 2 left lanes right in the middle of that. And eastbound I-80 is jammed 55 to Richards with a crash in the left lane. Edens is 21 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. Kennedy, 46 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 30. Eisenhower, 50 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 33. Stevenson, 48 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. Ryan, 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Mission Ford, 33 minutes. 8094 to the merge. Crash at 111th in the left lane. On Tri-State Heavy, 87th to 31st. And from the Reagan to the way to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial, 63rd most to the way to Roosevelt. Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business. Since 1935, here's our meteorologist, Brian May.
Today, breezy, clouds giving way to sun, high 30. Increasing clouds tonight, low 18. Cloudy tomorrow, high 33. A mix of clouds and sunshine for Thursday. We'll have a high of 33. I'm Brian May on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 17 at O'Hare, 18 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with Bruce Wolf sitting in with us this week on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff. Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
first we heard glass breaking. We didn't know what was happening, but a lot of people running away.
It went just past me, past my girlfriend. I think it missed me by 3 meters, missed her by 5.
They are going down. They're looking for a way to change the losing game. And the question is, will we stay the course, or will we overreact or make concessions?
The votes for President of the United States were cast and tabulated. All 16 electors cast their ballots for Donald J. Trump for President of the United States.
When you were labeled that angry black woman, was that one of the things that knocked you back a bit?
That was one of those things that you just sort of think, dang, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
You know?
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Trump wins in a landslide. As Keith Conrad said, Donald Trump graduated from the Electoral College with honors. The vote totals are in 304 for Trump, 227 for Hillary, 3 for Colin Powell. Those were Democrat electors, too. 1 for John Kasich, 1 for Ron Paul. That was a Trump supporter in Texas, decided to cast a vote for Ron Paul. And Faith Spotted Eagle, Bruce, your favorite, received 1 vote.
Is that an actual endangered species, or is that a human being?
It is a human being. It is the leader of the Sioux tribe and the person who's trying to stop the North Dakota pipeline.
Is that South Dakota?
No.
Which Dakota
it's
is
North Dakota.
Dakota Fanning. No,
so the 4 Democratic electors in the state of Washington, 4 of them went rogue, and those are 3 voted for Colin Powell, and 1 voted for Faith Spotted Eagle, the name of my new band. That's what I'm going to call it. But it was quite an interesting day because, you know what? It was a historical day, but not in the way you thought, because everybody thought that Republican electors for Donald Trump would switch.
How many? How many?
They needed 37, and only 2 out of Texas. That's it. Right. 2.
Much ado about zilch.
Well, then also there's, a Democratic elector in Colorado, Maine, and Minnesota. They tried to vote for another candidate rather than Hillary Clinton, and they were quickly replaced. So with that, we bring to the program a returning guest, good friend to many, Ed Morrissey. He's the senior editor for hotair.com. Good morning, Mr. Morrissey. How are you?
Good morning, Amy. I'm doing great. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning to you.
Were you as surprised as many Americans were about what they call the faithless electors that switched, but it was on the Democratic side, not the Republican side?
No, actually, I was predicting that Hillary was going to lose more electors. I actually thought she was going to lose a lot more. I thought that the people who were agitating for briefings on the Russian hacking would be more inclined to walk away from Hillary Clinton as a form of protest. And I was actually surprised that she only lost 5. I kind of thought that she'd be well into double digits. I was not at all surprised that only 2 people walked away from Donald Trump. These are party loyalists that are on these elector slates. They're not going to hand the election off to the other party just because some Hollywood has-beens put together a video.
Now, wait a minute, Ed. There's some never-weres as well. Not just has-beens.
There were some never-words, yes. And there were some has-beens. I mean, it's nice to see Mike Farrell still around and looking good, and Loretta Swit. They were pretty entertaining back in the day. But, if these electors were swayed by Hollywood liberals and leftist agitators with homemade signs, they'd already be Democrats. So I didn't really see too much risk for Donald Trump in the Electoral College yesterday.
And then you have liberals like Michael Moore, who said, I'm going to pay the fine for anyone who switches, any faithless elector who goes rogue against Donald Trump. And, I don't even know if the 2 are going to be fined that went against Donald Trump in Texas. Do you?
I don't think that they're legally required to be bound in Texas. I'm not sure about that, but I don't believe they are. And you did see states where they are legally bound to stick with the vote, and the people who did try to go rogue ended up either getting replaced. But that happened here in Minnesota, where I live, or they were forced to go back and revote and change their vote back to Hillary Clinton. That was in Maine. There was a couple other instances of that too, and it wasn't until you got to Washington, which was actually rather late in the day, that you saw the first successful faithless electors, and there were 4 of them who were supposed to vote for Hillary Clinton, but 3 of them voted for Colin Powell and 1 voted for Faith Spotted Eagle, as you guys were mentioning just a moment ago.
And those 4 are going to be fined, we've learned this morning.
So, Ed...
Oh, is that right?
Yep, $1,000 each.
Yeah, Ed, the animosity after Bush versus Gore, I mean, there's still a number of Democrats who don't recognize George Bush as having won that election. But you got to think that the ante has been raised with this because, an electoral college challenge. I mean, so is this setting the stage for, forget bipartisanship? And what's funny is that Trump is probably going to govern like a Democrat and a Republican because he seems to be all over the place. Yet Democrats will never forgive him the fact that he won this election.
Right. You're already starting to see signs of that, right? You've got Keith Olbermann, who all of a sudden is back on podcasting. He's got a new video out, I guess it's this morning or last night, said, "This is Keith Olbermann, and this is the resistance." And that was about as far as I got. I started laughing, and I'm not sure if he's doing comedy these days. The symbol of this movement, by the way, is a diaper pin, which I just think is amazingly accurate. It's a diaper pin.
It's a safety pin, but yeah, that's what when we were growing up, we had safety pins. Those are diapers.
It's something that you put underneath Pajama Boy, I guess. So it kind of works, doesn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't know.
It's so exceedingly silly, and there's this sort of meme on social media that this is why Trump won. It's when these things come up, people say this is why Trump won. Well, this is why Trump won. Is because you've got liberals who are just going off the deep end over this, and they're becoming increasingly, unrealistic. I think is the.
Well, they're unhinged. I mean, I had a friend who uninvited me to a birthday party. My birthday party, not just a birthday party, because of the election and because I work here. And she said I'm to blame for Trump becoming president. I said Trump lost in the state of Illinois. All 20 electoral votes went to Hillary Clinton.
You're either for or against it. Hey, Ed, Andrew Ferguson had an interesting article in the Weekly Standard about why, why Trump won. And one of the things, that he was looking at how his tweets make everybody go absolutely nuts. And what he does with tweeting, like say with the flag burning controversy, is he comes up with an answer that, of course, isn't going to pass constitutional muster. I mean, we can't get rid of the citizenship of somebody, who burns a flag. But his heart is in the right place. And the overreaction to Trump is what Trump is counting on. And you're getting it with the Electoral College. You're getting it with the way people react to his tweets. And it seems to work.
Well, it does. I don't know how effective that's going to be for a long-term strategy when you're actually governing as opposed to campaigning, but I guess we're going to find out.
No, they need to take his Twitter away. Somebody does. They do.
I agree with you, Amy. I think that campaign is campaigning, but governing is a little bit more serious than campaigning, and I don't know how effective that's going to be in the long run anyway. But what I do think is true is that the media really sort of exposed themselves in this election as tremendously biased. And in a way, I think that makes it very difficult for them to argue against the idea of liberal media bias in the future. They'll certainly try, but there's just so many great examples of it in this election. And in the end, it was in service to a candidate who couldn't get out of her own way. I mean, Hillary Clinton is a terrible candidate. She was a terrible candidate in 2008, and she was a terrible candidate this year, and she's maybe the only Democrat who could have lost to Donald Trump.
Is that because she doesn't like people? I mean, what makes somebody a terrible candidate? Because they can't connect with people? They can't... I mean, she was so standoffish to the media. I'll never forget when she roped herself off at a parade in Iowa so that nobody could get close to her.
Well, I mean, there's that. I mean, Donald Trump did things like that, too. But, I mean, part of this is being just a terrible strategic candidate. Edward Isaac Dovere over at Politico actually had a really good article about what happened in Michigan, Iowa, and Wisconsin, which is that they didn't bother to campaign there. They wrote off Pennsylvania, figuring that there was no possible way that Donald Trump could ever win Pennsylvania. They weren't listening to people on the ground. It's pretty much what Mitt Romney did in 2012, Hillary Clinton did in 2016. She completely ignored the lessons that Barack Obama taught Democrats about how to win presidential elections.
Well, hindsight is 20/20 on this. I mean, I'm still surprised that Trump won. I think Trump is surprised he won too. I mean, it was such a narrow victory, but I mean, so we can look at it now and say, well, yeah, how come they're not spending any time in Michigan and Wisconsin when they should be? But I mean, it was astonishing, and really what Trump did was he co-opted the Obama message from 2012, which is "I care about you," and Mitt Romney didn't because of the 47%.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some truth to that. I mean, it certainly resonated among people, and he did better than Mitt Romney in overall, and in key places like that as well. Michigan, he did better than Romney, but he didn't do as good as George Bush in a losing effort in 2004. He was about 35,000 votes behind where George W. Bush was in 2004 in Michigan. So I think the Republicans still have a ways to go to catch up to putting themselves in a winning position. But that's kind of what I'm talking about when I say Hillary Clinton was a terrible candidate. You had George W. Bush, who came up 35,000 votes short of where the Republican candidate came in 2004, and yet he still beat Hillary Clinton in a what is a blue state in presidential elections by over 10,000 votes. I mean, she was just a terrible candidate. She didn't do anything that she needed to do to actually win the election, except raise money and run up the vote in places like New Orleans, in a state that she wasn't going to win anyway, and in Chicago, a state that she was going to win running away. And the whole idea behind that was to run up the popular vote total rather than win the Electoral College. It was just a terrible candidate from A to Z.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Ed Morrissey, for joining us, senior editor for hotair.com, and have a great Christmas.
Well, thank you, and Merry Christmas to you.
All right. And Ed Morrissey joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next is the First Lady, an angry Black woman. She explains herself. But first,
today, windy with
forecast.
I'm sorry. Windy with clouds, giving way to some sun, a high of 30. Tonight, thickening clouds, low of 18. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 33. Low tomorrow night, 25. Thursday, periods of clouds and sun, a high of 33. Low Thursday night, 20. Now for a check of traffic, here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Bruce, we have some good news after a whole lot of bad news. This morning, 3 major crashes have cleared. The biggest, northbound I-55 before 53, happened about 3:30 this morning. Had the interstate shut down. It is now cleared off the expressway, though the investigation continues. Another one at 126 is gone. Still very heavy, though, from US 30 up to near 53. Eastbound I-80, a crash at Richards is clear, but we're still seeing delays from I-55 to Richards. The Edens is 19 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, out on 21. In Mount Kennedy, 54 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 39 from Montrose, 29 in the Express, out on 27 at the airport. The Ike, 50 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, out on 33. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, out on 44. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tollways are relatively light. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
You know, the weather in Chicago's going to be terrible this year. Baby, it's cold outside. But do you know...
I really can't stay.
But baby, it's cold outside. But do you know where it'll be warm and sunny for the next 5 months?
Where?
Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. That's where you and Dan are headed in 2017. You're going to be staying at the...
Joe Walsh is going there, too, by the way.
I feel like I'm, the prize, Donnie, the guy in the game show. Here's what you've won.
Tell me
Amy,
what's behind door number 2.
You're going to be staying at the secret... You with Joe Walsh and Dan and the whole crew will be staying at the Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa. It's an unlimited luxury resort that just opened in November. It has 5 gourmet restaurants, 7 bars serving unlimited premium drinks, and 24-hour room service. The resort has sparkling pools and access to pristine beaches. Join Dan and Amy and Joe Walsh in Punta Cana and have the vacation of a lifetime. Get more information and book your trip by visiting 560theanswer.com, keyword passport. The price that Apple Vacations has secured for this trip is incredible and exclusive to AM 560 The Answer. Don't miss out. Visit 560theanswer.com, keyword passport.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. Forecasting the future is tricky business, as even the sabermetric Poindexters found out on November 8th, so I'll stick to wish casting for 2017. Since the left doesn't trust a Trump-led government and conservatives don't trust government, period, I wish for the bipartisan agreement Pauls are always clamoring on about to drastically reduce the size, scope, and expense of the federal Leviathan. I wish the governor of one of the adjacent Great Lakes states would colonize Illinois. I wish we would remember that smart is not a synonym for civilized. I wish the affluent would preach what they practice in the areas of family, education, work ethic, and personal responsibility. I wish Pope Francis would take his cues from the Word of God more so than the word of Leonardo DiCaprio. I wish more people would read Thomas Sowell and fewer would watch The View, The Chew, and the blathering Beltway magpies who have no clue. I wish those who claim to do everything in the name of the children actually did. I wish self-styled fiscal conservatives would learn that every issue is a moral issue and every law reflects someone's values. I wish for a return to the pre-post-truth era, and I wish you and yours a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2017.
NIV Live, a breathtaking Bible experience, is the perfect Christmas gift. Voiced by award-winning actors, musicians, and pastors, it brings Bible characters to life from Genesis to Revelation.
Truly I tell you, one of you will betray me.
God of Israel says, "Let my people go."
Surely your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings.
I have seen the Lord.
Where is your God?
Let there be light.
The NIV Live complete audio set retails for $125, but you can buy it from Faithgate this Christmas for only $29.95 with free 3-day shipping. This special offer is only available online at NIVLiveSpecial.com. The perfect Christmas gift for spouses, parents, and grandparents. Get this 79 CD set for only $29.95 with free 3-day shipping only at NIVLiveSpecial.com. Order yours for Christmas at NIVLiveSpecial.com. Limit 7 sets per order. Only at NIVLiveSpecial.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, Bruce, I watched it for you, this much-hyped interview with Oprah and First Lady Michelle Obama.
Mm-hmm.
You know, first she said that she knows what not having hope feels like because President-elect Donald Trump will be moving in there soon. 32 days, by the way. That's how much longer they have. That's how long they have left in the White House.
I remember when we were counting
days.
down the days in 2012 because we were sure that Mitt Romney was going to win. So, yeah.
And she's made comments, that have been a little dicey.
Let me tell you something. For the first time in my adult lifetime, I'm really proud of my country.
Ooh, yeah. And then ended it out saying that, I know what it feels like to not have any hope. Well, today's edition of What Did Michelle Obama Say? We bring to you the story of what it's like to be labeled an angry black woman. Are you or are you not angry?
When you were labeled that angry black woman, was that one of the things that knocked you back a
Well, that
bit?
was one of those things that you just sort of think, dang, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
I mean, you just sort of feel like, wow, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
And that's the first blowback, because you think, wow, that is so not me. But then you sort of think, well, this isn't about me. This is about the person or the people who write it.
Right.
I mean, that's just the truth.
That's what Maya always used to say to me.
Yeah, it's just so much about that. And then you start thinking, oh, wow, we're so afraid of each other.
Did you hear Oprah say Maya Angelou dropping her name? Which she could do because, I'm sure Maya drops Oprah's name all the time. Basically what Michelle Obama is saying is, I know you are, but what am I? That's what she's saying.
No, but it bothers me, though, because I think if someone's assertive and productive and accomplished, that men sometimes think we're angry. We're not angry, and we're not the B word either. And I've been dealing with that for the majority of my life, and I have a girlfriend who is always labeled that. Well, most of the time she's labeled that, and she's not a bad person. She's not the B word.
Here's how I define it.
She just represents herself. What?
I think that, if you're a liberal woman, then you are the B word. If you're like KT McFarland or, a good
really?
Conservative.
You're going to politicize this?
Mother
Okay.
Teresa, whatever, you are not.
Okay.
You are, well within your rights.
Well, let's see what Sean from Elmwood Park has to say about this. I love talking about women issues with Sean. Hi, Sean.
Yeah, well, most of them are sexually frustrated, but she's none of those things. She's not successful. What has she been a success at? She had ghost jobs. Her entire existence was a job, patronage job, because her husband was in politics, whether you go to Children's Hospital or what the case is. But my favorite part of her is she wants to know why people think she's angry. And she's got the look on her face like her car radio was stolen constantly. And the cadence in her voice, like the neighbor's dog is going to the bathroom on her lawn and she's telling it to get off constantly. But my favorite part is the look on Barack Obama's face when she walks in the room. It's similar to when we caught her throwing those 35 dumbbells around like cashews when he's lifting the 5 pounds like Bruce Wolf trying to open an envelope.
Hey,
it's
now watch
painful
it.
to watch. And I'll tell you another thing. Where are all her white friends? Where are all the white women at? She doesn't have any white friends. She will
That's
go
all right.
down.
So
this will
what?
go down as the biggest failure of a first lady. Not that there are really successes; they're all just nonsense anyway, prancing around with their fake agenda. But not only is the most unfriendly.
Jill Biden's her friend.
I've
She's
never
white.
seen the White House so unfriendly, and I can't wait to see the exchange between Donald and he'll bring Ivanka. Believe me, Melania will be hiding like the Berlin Wall's coming down again. But I can't wait to see the exchange of the keys of the White House. That's going to be wonderful.
Sean, don't you think that the Obamas will be divorced?
Oh, my God. Will you stop
think
it?
they
They're
have
not going to
been
get divorced.
They're already
not
divorced.
You
Yeah.
guys are crazy. He is loyal to her.
What
He's
a
never had an
miserable
affair.
marriage that
And
is.
he's not
when do
gay.
you see them together?
He's going to start
There are the
smoking
couple
again, right? Yeah, there's no
And I'll tell you another thing. Look at his face as he's walking the beach with Reggie Love. Somebody explain that to me.
Oh, all right.
Stop
You've gone
it.
too far now.
Yeah, thanks, Sean.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
What is the reasoning behind the separation of church and state? This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
As a pastor, when we propagate the gospel outside of the church atmosphere, we hear people screaming separation of church and state. What is some argument? Let me back up and say, to my knowledge, what I understand about separation of church and state, the reason it came about is to keep the state out of church affairs.
That is actually the correct history of the First Amendment itself. The idea was there was not going to be a national church like a Church of England, but rather a separation in the sense that the government would not be controlling the internal affairs of the churches. But it wasn't a separation from God and government, and it wasn't a separation from religious influence on social and moral issues. Again, the separation of church and state does not allow for the government to squelch the message of the gospel or the message of the church.
Find out more at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
Hey, do you need to sell your home right now? Has it been on the market so long? Your listing expired? Are you frustrated? Well, I know the man who will absolutely sell your home now. It's Saul Z and the Z team, and he needs homes right now all over Chicagoland. Saul's database of thousands of buyers are looking for homes in the $250,000 to $750,000 range. Now, there's likely a buyer for you right now, but don't wait. Get this. On average, Saul sells a home every single day. No other agent sells your home quicker or for more money. He's so confident that he'll sell your home, he's offering a 59-day guarantee. That's right, list your home with Saul. If it's not under contract within 59 days, Saul sells it for free without his commission. Again, 59 days or he'll sell it for free. And Saul needs homes right now to sell. So contact Saul Z today. Call Saul.net. That's call Saul, SAUL.net, or dial 888-346-0666. That's 888-346-0666. And please tell Saul that I sent you. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, is the city of Chicago naughty or nice? We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
17 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. Berlin police say a suspect behind the Christmas market attack that killed at least 12 may still be on the run. Reports say Berlin's police president says officials cannot be certain at this point the man in custody was the driver of the semi who plowed into that crowded market yesterday. Police in Turkey have detained a man who they say fired shots in front of the U.S. Embassy in Ankara several hours after the Russian ambassador to Turkey was killed in an attack. President-elect Donald Trump, former Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton both lost a few votes when electors cast their Electoral College ballots yesterday, but Clinton ended up losing the most. Trump won 306 electoral votes in his November 8 election win. Michigan's 16 Republican electors cast their votes yesterday for Trump in spite of protests.
We feel that Trump is unfit to be president.
I will not call him my president.
7 so-called faithless electors broke ranks yesterday, stripping 5 votes away from Clinton, only 2 from Trump. Czech tennis star Petra Kvitova is being treated for injuries to her left hand after an intruder attacked her with a knife today. The 2-time Wimbledon champ described the injury as severe this morning on her Facebook page. The 26-year-old says she will need to see specialists, vowed to bounce back. Czech police are reportedly looking for a 35-year-old man suspected of breaking into the tennis star's apartment. The attack has echoes of a knife incident involving tennis star Monica Seles from 1993. North Carolina Governor-elect Roy Cooper says the legislature there will repeal the state's so-called bathroom law shortly after the Charlotte City Council votes to repeal its own local law that limited protections for the LGBT community and is said to have sparked that state law. More people could face charges in the investigation into the Flint, Michigan lead-contaminated water, and developments there, according to Attorney General Bill Schuette, are ongoing, and he's scheduled a news conference for later today. Drivers had big delays this morning following a deadly crash involving two semi-tractor trailers on I-55 near Bolingbrook, and charges are pending after a man was stabbed to death on Chicago's south side. The victim attacked last night over a domestic situation near 43rd and Ellis. Chicago sports. Last night, Bulls beat the Pistons on the college hardwood. Number 15 Purdue over Western Illinois. Mississippi beat Bradley. And DePaul, a winner over Southeast Missouri State. The news, a service of Staples. Staples can take care of all of your personal and business holiday shipping in-store with UPS 7 days a week, with all the packing supplies you need at great prices. Plus, from now until December 24th, get 10% off UPS shipping services. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher can't believe the Democrats are blaming Russia.
This is an absolute smokescreen by sore losers who don't like the fact that Hillary Clinton was defeated. If we were whining that Hillary won because of Russian interference, there'd be only one response in the halls of the New York Times and CNN.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
My daughter started school, and I find myself worrying if she is getting home safe while I'm still at work. I wish I could check up on her.
Alarm Detection Systems offers remote control of your security system from your phone. Get text or video alerts when someone's at your door. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Our neighbor had thousands of dollars in flood damage and lost several items that are irreplaceable. Is there a security solution to receive early warning of an event like this?
Of course. Alarm Detection Systems has flood detection systems alerting you when water gathers in your home, giving you time to react. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
It's Galaxy's free sale. Free installation, free design, and free financing.
773-783-8300. Call Galaxy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Oh my goodness, I am so grateful for it. And my 85-year-old mother, even more so.
I love the product so far. It's been a month, a little over a month now, and I feel great. It's incredible.
It's working good. It's amazing, Glue. I'm able to do more and I feel better. I like it.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
It's 8:38. Let's check the roads at our AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're still seeing heavy delays on northbound I-55 from US 30 to 53 after a much earlier crash, which had the interstate shut down. Eastbound I-80 has heavy delays. River Road to Richards after an earlier collision. Inbound Kennedy jammed. Montrose to the Burn Circle. 58 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 48 from Montrose. 29 on the Express. Outbound 27 to O'Hare, slow Montrose to Harlem. The Edens is fine. The Eisenhower now brutal at an hour and 16 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, an hour from Manheim. Outbound 35 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson 48 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 34. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, traffic is slow from around the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, eastbound Adams Tollway sluggish, Bussy to Lee. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Windy. Clouds giving way to sunshine this morning. Will top out at 30 and thickening clouds at 18 overnight. Currently 18. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with Bruce Wolf sitting in with us this week on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560 The Answer. Brought to you by Pure Shale Financial Group.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And last year, remember, Bruce, when you filled in for Dan on the day before we went on break, took a little week off, you and I sang a beautiful Christmas carol.
This song?
No, this one.
Get away, I got to. Look at here now. Chuck, pull your pants down. I'm sorry. Everything turns into that for me, doesn't it?
Turns into pull your pants down. I don't want to pull my pants down.
I'm just a soul man from the 60s.
Well, so we want you to know that, Dan, Bruce and I are working on something spectacular for Thursday, December 22nd at 8:45 a.m. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be one of our best songs ever.
It's going to be better than Michael Bublé, accent aigu over the E.
So Christmas time is here, a few days. Are you done Christmas shopping? Oh, wait. Oh.
Yeah, rub it in. I have no savior.
No, but Hanukkah is the same.
Thanks. You just got that in my eye. Okay.
Hanukkah.
Yeah.
It coincides with Hakakana.
Hanukkah overlaps with Christmas this year.
That's what I was going to say. So you give gifts at Christmas time.
Because we're just imitating the Christians. Well, Hanukkah is actually a minor holiday. You know what the biggest holiday in the Jewish religion is? No, wait,
Rosh Hashanah.
Yom Kippur is the biggest. Rosh Hashanah is a minor holiday, relatively speaking. You know what the biggest holiday is outside of Yom Kippur? I'll tell you. Every Saturday, the Sabbath.
There you go.
Every Saturday we have a holiday. But do we take advantage of it? No, I'm on Twitter on Saturdays.
Well, you shouldn't. You're bad.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so
this is a season of giving and being kind to others, right?
Sure.
Should be nice. Think about charitable donations and things like that. So what is the name of the? Oh, yes. Well, WalletHub.com came up with a list.
I'm being charitable to you right now.
Yes, you are, because you're here. Right. Came up with a list of the most caring cities. And is Chicago naughty or nice? Let's get the latest from Jill, who joins us, and she's an analyst for WalletHub.com. Good morning, Jill. How are you? Good. Sorry, I had to turn you on there.
Turning me on.
I'm sure people in Chicago might not think that they made the list, but where do we rank in terms of the most caring cities in America?
Well, we measured the most populated 100 cities in America. Chicago just made the top half. It ranked 42nd overall.
Between what cities are we talking about? Anaheim and Azusa? I mean, what are the cities that we are between? Cucamonga and Poughkeepsie? What are the cities that we are between, Jill?
Well, there were cities like Washington, D.C., actually, New York, up near the top. The number one cities were still Midwestern. Madison was number one. Lincoln was number two. A little bit smaller, but doing some good stuff.
Well, so how did you determine what was the most caring cities in America?
Well, we looked at three main categories. So those were caring for your community, everything from the crime rate to social ties to favors for neighbors, food and clothing distributions, etc. Then we looked at caring for the vulnerable, the poverty rate, the rehab centers per capita, and insured rates as well. And finally, caring in the workforce. And that's where Chicago actually did excel at everything from firefighters and paramedics per capita to nurses and residents who work in community and social services.
Of course, because they got great pension deals. How about taxpayers? Yeah, that doesn't work too well. Would it be an indication of the magnanimity of a city, the caring of a city, that its mayor is able to be a multimillionaire and also can send his kids to a private school for about $40,000 a year? Is that?
That has nothing to do with it. Well, I'm sorry. I'll let, Jill answer
Jill
that.
tell us.
Jill, you can tell him what I just said.
If that's one of the 32 key metrics that you use.
Yes, that was not a metric here. I mean, we really did focus on community instead of one maybe figurehead. But I think these things, especially things like insured rate, poverty rate, do trickle down from the above.
All right, so to be caring, you have to be giving. So what city has the most volunteers per capita?
The most volunteering hours per capita, places like Virginia Beach, Charlotte, North Carolina, San Diego has a high amount, so that's really all over the place.
And my favorite is the share of residents who do favors for neighbors. Because I always think that we all help each other out at some point in time, but who's the friendliest when it comes to neighborly love?
Yes, and this is actually a Pew Center research poll, so some people were honest and said, no, we don't really do that, but the most. Boston, Philly, Cincinnati, Kansas City, and Milwaukee, another Wisconsin city, was number one in terms of doing favors for neighbors.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's a downside to that because, good fences make good neighbors. So if you have nosy neighbors who are always doing favors, am I like
You're like
Ebenezer Scrooge of this segment, aren't I? I get it. All right, I'm going to turn into Bob Cratchit right
this
now.
This is Jill Gonzalez. She is an analyst for WalletHub.com, talking about the most caring cities. Number one, Madison, Wisconsin. Lincoln, Nebraska. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Boise, Idaho. Honolulu. Anchorage. Colorado Springs. And, Chicago, we came in 42nd.
We're 42nd. It's not bad.
We're
in the top 42.
Pretty average, a little bit above average. But what city has the lowest child poverty rate?
In terms of child poverty rate, the lowest is what we were going for here. Fremont, Irvine, California, both of those cities in California did very well. Gilbert, Arizona, and Plano, Texas also had very low poverty rates. Highest child poverty rate, unfortunately,
let me guess.
Not a surprise.
Let me guess. Does it rhyme with Freetroit? Yes.
It unfortunately does.
Yes.
Detroit
Okay.
still is recovering from its recession.
God, the city has the highest with 57.1%.
Well, we're going to bring back, the Studebaker plant there, I think.
Well, they should do something. They're raising a lot of homes, and they're building or starting crops.
Right, it's turning into
organic farming.
farmland.
Yeah, well, that's what. Try something.
So we're going back to the 19th century in Detroit.
I think
before
it's
Henry
great.
Ford created the automobile from Detroit. Okay.
Yes. All right, and Jill, one last question before you go. The most residents who work in community and social services per 100 residents. What city is that?
What kind of prize does she get if she gets this right, Amy?
Well, she should know. Jill, do you know the answer? Jill, you know the answer, right, Jill?
I do. It is Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yay!
The Midwest did have a good showing.
Yeah. We need to do to get in the top 20 is just be a little more caring.
Cut the murder rate down, I think.
Well, I think the crime rate probably had something to do with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there
The
we
crime
go.
rate definitely, there are a lot of people working in social services in Chicago. I think it's now, really budgeting funds to get that help where it's needed.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jill
Thank you,
Gonzalez,
Jill.
joining us. She's an analyst for WalletHub.com. We appreciate your time this morning.
Anytime.
Thanks. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
And we're trying to show that we care. So right now we're handing out free stuff.
Good.
A pair of tickets to Tony and Tina's wedding at the Chicago Theater Works. Right now, be caller number 20. Caller number 20 to win a pair of tickets to Tony and Tina's wedding. It's an interactive show. You just don't watch it. You become part of the show. You'll be with the groom side, the bride
I've
side.
seen it.
No two shows are ever the same. So if you've gone before, go again. You'll love it. Caller number 20, 312-642-5600. You'll win your set of tickets to Tony and Tina's wedding at the Chicago Theater Works. Forecast for today is warming up, huh?
It's certainly no two weather forecasts are alike for me. even though they should be the same throughout the morning. Today, windy with clouds giving way to some sun, high of 30 tonight, thickening clouds, low of 18. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 33, low tomorrow night, 25. Thursday, periods of cloud and sun, high of 33, low Thursday night of 20. Now for a check of traffic, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Bruce. Kennedy inbound. It's Jan. Montrose to the Burn Circle, 58 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 48 from Montrose, 29 to the Express. Outbound, there's a 7-minute delay, Montrose to Harlem. The Edens is clear. Eisenhower's an hour and 9 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 47 minutes from Mannheim. Outbound 35 to Thorndale. Northbound I-55 still jammed from US 30 to Weber. After a much earlier crash, the interstate is all open again. Farther north to Stevenson is 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's good. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway, slow bussy to Lee. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
'Tis the season to enjoy Sprint's new Unlimited plan with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th lines for free. Get unlimited mobile optimized data, talk, and text for only $100 a month for a family of 5 when you bring your number to Sprint. That's 5 lines for only $100 a month. A plan like this with AT&T would cost you over $200 a month. And Verizon, they don't even have an unlimited data plan. No more worries about running out of data or surprise overage charges. Switch to Sprint today. Visit a Sprint store, sprint.com/freedom, or call 1-800-SPRINT1.
Lines 3 through 5 free until 1/31/18. After pay an additional $30 per month per line. Prices with autopay. Coverage and offer not everywhere for discounted phone subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Excludes taxes, surcharges, roaming, and premium content. Limited for video up to 480p, music up to 500 kilobits per second, and games up to 2 megabits per second. Prohibited network use rules apply and data deprioritization during congestion. AT&T plan not an exact match. See carrier website for details. Restrictions apply.
Our decorations caught on fire last year while my family was on vacation. Luckily, my neighbors called the fire department. We could have lost everything.
Breathe easier this holiday knowing your home is protected. Alarm Detection Systems offers professional home alarm monitoring 24/7, 365. ADS is an authorized Honeywell security dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
The other day, I had holiday gifts delivered to my house. Unfortunately, they were missing when I came home. I can't believe someone would be so brazen to walk up to my front doorstep and steal from us.
Call Alarm Detection Systems. We are an authorized Honeywell security dealer. We offer cameras to watch your house and keep your family safe. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
AM 560.
Hey, Santa Claus. Now, really looking forward to our duet at 8:45 on Thursday.
I really can't say that I am. I'm a little bit apprehensive.
Yeah,
Because baby, it's cold out there.
You're going to warm up to it.
Okay, I hope so. I'm a little nervous because you're very good.
All right, so Jerry Lewis
Lady.
had a few awkward on-screen moments in his day, but nothing compares to this recent interview he did with The Hollywood Reporter. The comedian, who was an early fan of Donald Trump during the presidential primaries, was being interviewed for a series on Hollywood luminaries over the age of 90. And
who else is there? Jaja died.
It's too soon. I can't talk about
George Burns
Jaja.
is
Well,
dead.
so he didn't make it easy for this reporter, Andy Lewis. Okay.
Have you ever thought about retiring?
Why?
Was there never a moment that you thought it might be time to retire, or you would want?
Why?
you come from a generation a little older, and I think of Bob Hope, George Burns, Sinatra, people you knew, many of whom didn't want to or never retired either. Do you see similarities with them?
None.
I mean,
give him credit. The guy's 90 years old.
yeah, but yes or
He's
no answers.
feisty.
Andy wrote that Jerry hated his photo shoot, the photographers, the crew personnel, basically everything that happened before the interview portion even got started.
You've had a number of health issues over the last few years, as many people your age do.
Anyone that's 90 does.
Anyone that's 90 does. Continuing to work, does that actually help you get healthier? Does being sort of busy and engaged, do you think that's actually helps you get healthier?
No.
Do you think it hurts? Do you think?
No.
He's succinct. I mean, if you can answer with a yes or no, that's fine. You know Jeff Hoover? I used to work with him. I used on Johnny Brandmeier's show. He's on Channel 9. He does the Jerry Lewis.
Johnny B show got canceled.
Oh, that was a different one, different incarnation of it. He does the great Jerry Lewis impersonation. He once saw Jerry Lewis at the Allstate Arena, or I think it was, and in the audience, and he did his Jerry Lewis impersonation, asking Jerry a question, and it was a great impersonation, and Jerry Lewis was nasty to him. So here's a guy paying tribute to his hero, and his hero is absolutely nasty.
We got to squeeze in one more about Vegas.
You've been coming to Vegas you've lived here for a while. You've been coming here for a long time. How is Vegas different for you than when you first came here? When was the first time you performed in Vegas?
1947.
Can you tell me what Vegas was like when you first showed up?
It's not. It's the same.
It's the same?
Exactly the same.
Yes or no answers are never easy.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention market watchers. Until recently, the market hadn't seen back-to-back days of 500-point losses since November of 2008. What if you had no market exposure? What if you didn't have to worry about the markets? How would you sleep? Leave the volatility behind. Hi, this is Jack Taboda. Our proprietary income strategies provide reliable, inflation-protected income, guaranteed for life, with no market exposure. Call me at 630-777-7955. That's 630-777-7955. You've worked hard to build your wealth. I work hard to protect it. 630-777-7955.
Insurance products may be presented